Well, welcome to Halfway Runaways.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, we can start with what we were talking about before, line dancing.
Yes, we can start with line dancing.
I mean,
That's where you want
all
to
right,
start.
or you can start with telling us who you are.
My name is Emma. I'm a ghost hunter. I am a country line dancer. I'm a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm a cat mom. Yeah, and I'm a storyteller. I'd say that rounds it out.
Okay. That's fun. Okay. But okay, first off, when it comes to the ghost hunting, how do you get into the ghost hunting?
Well, that has a little bit of a long story, just a smidge. But the short story is that when I started producing the ghost tours that we'll talk about, I partnered up with a team called Lower Bucks Paranormal Society. This team had been investigating locations in Bristol, Pennsylvania for probably about a year. I heard about them because they came and investigated the speakeasy that I work at. And honestly, one day I was standing at work and I was looking out onto Mill Street and I was like, we need to have a ghost tour. I knew that they had been investigating all these locations. So I approached the team and asked if they would want to collaborate on this concept of a ghost tour. But what would be the unique aspect is that the ghost stories are coming from the investigations that are currently happening from the paranormal team, as well as the local bar owners, the staff, the regulars that go to all of these establishments along Mill Street. So through that process and getting to know Lower Bucks Paranormal Society, they eventually invited me to join the team. And so over this last year, I've done investigations with them all over Bucks Academy.
What do you mean you've done investigations?
Like, we've gone on overnight ghost hunts. So we actually have one next week that will be going on Mill Street.
What are those machines called? Do you have them? The ones that make a bunch of sound?
We do. It's a voice box. So it's a radio. But what it's doing is it's automatically flipping through radio channels really fast. So it's scanning through them. And what paranormal teams typically do is that they'll make it scan backwards. And like I said, it's automatically scanning. So it's going really, really fast. And so all you're hearing, like you've seen on the ghost shows, is that psh, 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 psh sound. What's happening is that theoretically, a person wouldn't be able to intercept those frequencies quick enough with a full word, especially not a full sentence. And then also, if you're going backwards, it makes it even more difficult for statistically for it to line up into a perfectly understood sentence. If that makes sense. Like a
ghost speaking a sentence?
Well, so the theory is that if you do hear a sentence, it is a ghost.
Not a radio wave.
Correct. Because humans can't be. So let's say you're flipping through the channels normally. You could hear a song, you could hear a word, you could hear this. But if you're going through them backwards at a really fast pace, and then you hear a full sentence, it's very unlikely, again, in theory, that it's a person, because statistically, all the words can't line up for it to make sense. Am I making sense?
I mean, I'm hearing what you're saying. I don't know why. I just don't know why. Yeah, I wish you did too. I don't know why it is though. Like, do ghosts speak at a different frequency?
Yeah. Well, yes. So there's a lot of theories behind where ghosts are, what they are.
Well, what's your theory? Where do you think they are and what they are?
I think it's energy. I do think that I believe in the multiverse. I'm a Marvel person, but
Sure.
In general, I believe, in the multiverse. I believe that they are just on another frequency. Yeah. With that being said, okay, we can also get into, we'll circle back to this, but there are different definitions of ghosts that we can get into, which kind of tap into this frequency concept. But yes, it is believed that they operate on a different frequency, which, allows for them to, to use electricity to communicate with us.
So do you think their other dimension that they live in is more electrically based? Is that because I've heard that before, because when my parents were doing the Tavern, they were having to rewire everything, right? And it was a constant thing. Even when the electricians were coming in and saying, no, it's wired perfectly, there was still shortage it was still short, things that would happen constantly. And there is 12 known ghosts that live in that building. So
I love it.
When it comes to the multiverse, things like that, I 100% believe in that. I have weird, odd stories of what I think where they live in.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, so like a lot of my stories would be more, I don't know if this is a good thing to say, but like kind of somewhat drug induced. Okay, so like
People say that.
Well, I'm sober. Like I don't drink, I don't do drugs, nothing.
He's like, I swear to God.
Yeah, no. It's been a while. I've talked about it on other ones. Like I don't do it. It's been a long time.
Okay.
But I've done. Okay, so there's ones that I was sober, right? And I've had experiences with that. But then there's other ones that when you're doing some kind of substance, you're opening up like yourself to this, and you're talking about energy, like you're opening up your energy field. 100%. I believe that. I've been there. I think it's true. And then when you're also awake for several days, now you don't even know what's true. You don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
It is insane. You go in this delusional state where I've had these odd experiences that I was 100%. It felt more real than anything with spirits that were not there.
That's really cool. I've never had.
I guess.
I've actually never had a ghost experience drunk or like.
Well, I don't think I ever had them drunk.
Oh, okay.
I think it was other stuff
or substance induced, and I don't do drugs either. But I've never. I think it's funny that we're both like, you've never had it in this experience, but we don't do it. But
yeah.
Anyway, but yes, I mean, they say that, you know, when you're more open, you're more vulnerable to things like this. But I also think, some of my favorite stories are about the people who are like, they're super skeptical. And then they have some crazy, and I'm like, that person is not open at all. But like but they're having some crazy experience. I have a roommate of mine in Philly. So I lived a few blocks from the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philly for 3 years. And there was this one night that my roommate so there are 3 of us. 2 of us were gone. And the setup of the apartment was like 2 bedrooms here, and then down the hall through the living room, my other roommate's bedroom. This is the roommate that had this experience. So she's sitting in the living room. We are gone. She said she's sitting there and she looks to the side and she just gets a feeling like somebody's down the hallway. And so she's like, Emma, Kyla, and nobody responds. But then she sees a man walk from Kyla's bedroom into my bedroom. Actually, funny enough, he was wearing like a yellow shirt.
Okay.
She saw him walk.
I was that guy.
What?
I was that guy. It wasn't a ghost, dude.
Frank.
Yeah.
But
this is how we first met. You just doing yellow.
So she sees this guy like move into the bedroom, and mind you, this roommate, she always tells me she doesn't believe in ghosts. So I asked her, I was like, well, respectfully, what did you think that you were seeing? Because you saw a man in the apartment. Like, what did you do in that moment? She's like, well, yeah, I was really freaked out and I left and I stayed at a friend's house. And I'm like, again, like, did you think that it was someone breaking in? Did you think that it was like, how do you explain seeing a man so those ones, they crack me up because, yeah, like how, an open person, like I'm an open person. People say I am, but So why is it that the ones that are open don't tend to see the ghost when it's the ones who don't want to see the ghost end up seeing the ghost? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen ghosts for sure. That's like aliens too. It's like I want to see aliens so bad. I want to meet one so badly, but then like some other guy gets abducted. I know. Pisses me off. I want to be abducted too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know. I feel the same way. I think though, no, God, we need to stay on track because now we will get into. We can go into aliens too, but that's fine. Yeah, I want to be. Are they ghosts? Well, so there's like what? Possibly. What, yeah. Like interdimensional beings. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like okay. Can we? Okay, well, let's circle back to the definition of the ghost. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, because that'll help with the alien talk as well. So we'll talk about 3 categories to start, maybe 4. I think 3. So we have the interactive ghosts, which these are like...
I haven't heard that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're about to... This is fun. So we have the interactive ghosts, which are like conscious ghosts. So, for example, let's say I go on an investigation and we were told that Grandma Susie died in the house, and and now we're on the investigation and we have the voice box going and we hear the name Susie come up. Okay, we ask, Susie, is that you? We get a yes. Did you die in the house? Yes. This is now like an interactive spirit. It could be your past loved one. It could be just someone that passed in the house. They're not necessarily like, these are probably friendly spirits that are they just liked where they lived. They died there and now they're hanging out, or maybe they're lost.
But you said interactive and you said conscious, like they know they're a ghost?
They're more so conscious in the sense that they can consciously respond to your questions. Yeah. So in an investigation, like you can interact with them and they are responding. What's the word? I keep saying conscious, but they keep responding consciously. Like they are
like reactive.
They are responding intelligently. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and now to kind of, okay, so there's interactive. Then we have what's known as residual ghosts or residual energy. Have you heard of that before?
No.
So residual energy refers to basically memories of an event. So this could be, let's say, like, someone was murdered in a home. There could be, like, if you go to that home and you hear a scream in that home.
So where is that energy being kept? Like in the room, in the wall, I'm
really glad that you asked this. I'm really glad, because there are different theories about residual energy regarding the physical properties in our world, like wood. Different types of wood can hold vibrational energy. Different types of stone can hold different vibrational energies. So if you think about like a really old house, I mean, those slabs of wood are very raw, very like, not very tampered with slabs of wood that have built this home. And so there are theories that if a traumatic moment happened in a home, like in an old home like that, and it has these types of stones or this type of wood, that it can literally be holding the vibrational energy from that event.
See, that one kind of, I think of like the Colosseum. I remember like you could like speak across the stone, mm-hmm. right? And you can sit on one side, I sit on the other. You can speak into the stone. You can literally, it will travel through the stone, and then you can put your ear to it on the other side and hear it. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how that works.
Yeah, it's weird. And it also doesn't have to be traumatic. Like, let's go back to Grandma Susie, for example. If she lived in a home for 45 years and she did the same routine every day, like she walked by a specific door every day, and that was just her routine. Now, let's say she passed away and the next family moves in, but out of the corner of their eye, they always see an old woman pass by the door.
Now, do you think that is the wood creating that memory? Is that kind of what you're saying? Or like more of a sound like her vacuuming or something like that?
I think it's, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of different things that could inspire that to happen. And I also think, if we go back to the idea of open people versus closed people, or mediums versus non-mediums, like children, for example, there might be a child that just sees this happening all the time, and it could be happening all the time, but we just don't necessarily see it now as adults. But like children are known to see these things way more than adults. And there's a lot of different theories about that as well.
We can talk about that. I think it's more the pituitary gland gets a little clogged up,
Yeah.
as you grow older and older. So all of a sudden you're not just as open as you were as a child.
Yeah.
Because of if it's, the conspiracy of fluoride or chlorine or anything like that, and clouding our pituitary gland, we're just not as open that we used to be able to be a lot more open to this kind of frequency.
Right. Well, and again, like, what does open mean? Does it mean that suddenly we can see into the other realm? Does it mean that we, we can also talk about our intuition? Are we seeing signs? Are we following that intuition? Does that mean we're more open? I think, there are some theories about how children are, they just came from wherever that realm was.
The children came from that realm?
Well, they've now been, their soul has just entered like a physical body. So their soul, because their soul is freshly.
Oh, they just left that dimension and now they're in our dimension.
Yeah. So there's theories that because of that.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's not that crazy of a theory.
No, I don't think it's that.
So that's almost like a recycled soul then, in a way. So they came out of, because then I have this weird theory about, I don't think it's really a theory, but that's more of a spiritual or religious based one, that when we pass on, we go back in there.
Then we
kind of are just in the skin body, so that one's not that crazy to me.
Do you believe in past lives?
Yes.
Do you believe you've had one? Do you know what it is?
I was a Russian guy.
Wait, really? This is for real?
Yeah, this is real.
Okay.
So I studied holistic medicine for a couple of years in my early 20s when I was trying to figure out other parts of my life. But yeah, this woman that I used to see, her name was Marilyn Edwards. I got to give her a call. I love this woman. She lives in this little hobbit house in Florida. She would do this certain energy work on me and such. And there was times when 45 minutes would go by and I'd wake up and not remember anything. It was nuts. This woman, and she would talk about spirits, things like that. And one of them, she said, was I was this Russian man, but it wasn't. I don't think it was very good. I think I was standing by a fire, a dumpster fire, trying to stay warm.
Oh.
Yeah. So
in Russia, or do you just want Russian?
I don't know. I don't know.
She didn't say a time, a year.
I think I was in Russia.
Okay.
So maybe I wasn't in Russia. I was just in Russia. I don't know.
No, I mean,
I was standing by one of those trash fire, the metal drum,
right. Yeah.
trying to be warm in a trench coat, and
that
was
cool. Do you have memory of this? Or
that's the only memory. No, that's the only. No, I have memory of that. That's the only one. My dad's making of that, so he has on past life. So
I love your dad.
Yeah, he comes on here whenever he can.
He's the best. I told him, I was basically you are my self-declared friend. You have to be my friend.
He loves to talk too. So he the episodes I do with him, 15 minutes go by, but really 2 hours went by.
Yeah. Yes.
You can just keep talking and talking.
Just watch I was watching the most recent one. He's so smart.
My gosh. Reads 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Self-educated. All right, so back to residual.
You're right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so residual. Okay. Oh, yeah. We're going through the definitions. Okay, so we hit residual energy. All right, now I want to go into shadow people.
Okay, because I have weird experiences with them too.
Perfect. So you've seen a shadow person, so you know what I'm talking about. Hundreds.
But mine is, again, I don't want to sound like a crazy individual. If you sit when I tell my story in other rooms outside of this, people don't think I'm crazy there because they've all been there. But yeah, I've been tormented by them. But that has to do with because I have a past of drug addiction. Oh. So, and I have I have one that I'll tell you. Okay, I'll just tell you this. I was going through years of sobriety and relapse and sobriety and relapse. And I was doing drugs that induce what people always talk about shadow people with. I was doing amphetamines and things like that. So it was this weird thing. And I remember calling, I think it was my family at the time. I know it was my family and other people, and saying, it's weird. Whenever I start to see these shadow people, they're 100 yards away. And then they're 70 yards away.
Ooh.
And then they're 30 yards away. And then I would relapse.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'd be on a run. I'd be 3 months sober, or I'd be 6 weeks over. All of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I'd see this thing, and it would be like on a lawn or like behind a bush or something. And I'd be like, oh shit. And I remember being like, damn it.
Whoa.
It became so common that once it got within like a few feet of me, a relapse would happen like within that week. And that's where I think like addiction has this attachment issue.
Ooh.
Where addiction feeds this like dark energy and it keeps you in that. So yeah, then shadow people. And anytime we get sober, I mean, I would struggle with it for 3 or 4 months. I mean, there'd be times I'd get home and there'd be like 6 or 7 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. This is, I mean,
and it was, yeah,
awful, but so interesting, especially when you talk about, a lot of people talk about, this is reminding me when you said the word attachment.
Yeah.
It made me think about how people view possession or attachment. And a lot of people, I think, see it incorrectly, because the movies exploit it and things like that. But I think the way that I've described it is, yes, I do think that attachments like this can occur, but they will appear in different manifestations, such as, let's say in your case, addiction or heavy depression, and it could be, like you said, it could be out of nowhere.
Well, this is where I think that whatever that is feeding off of, let's just call it, if it's a good, a bad, a misery, a happiness, it's feeding off of like the misery that it does. So, and that's why I try to practice like a very spiritual life now. I pray in the morning and I pray before I go to bed, and I do everything I can to help other people as much as I can in the world that I had to live in. And so I have to keep a steady, good spiritual practice. Like that's called a light, like a happy light spiritual practice, because I think they're of the darkness.
That's so.
So fascinating. I'm just gonna tell you this real quick. When I had a couple of years sober at one point, I stopped doing the good spirituality, right? And I'm laying in my bed in Georgia, and I wake up to this like whoosh go by me, and I had felt this fear that I've never really felt before, and I had this prayer, St. Jude, sitting by my bed. I reach for it, grab it really quick, and I just start saying it. And at the end of my bed is this being. I don't know what it is. And it's just in like this dark trench coat type thing, like floating at the end of my bed. And I'm like terrified, so much fear. And all of a sudden, and a few days go by, or like a week or two go by, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm cooking in my kitchen in Georgia, and this little girl is standing in the hallway in what looks like almost like a wedding dress, and like long dark hair, and it scared the shit out of me. And now I'm still sober. I'm still like going through it, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in sobriety. I'm not practicing a spiritual, I don't have a spiritual practice at this time. I'm just kind of going through white knuckling it. And then I moved down to Florida, and this being that was at the end of my bed is now at the end of my bed in Florida. And the ex-girlfriend at the time, she's laying there too. And I just wake up and this thing is right there. And now it's gotten closer. And I'm like, this is terrifying. And within a few weeks of this, I'm sitting on my couch upstairs, and a woman goes crawling up the stairs in that exact same wedding dress, dark hair, and it's running up the stairs. I remember even being like, did you just fucking see that? And it sounds crazy because people think I'm crazy for telling the story, and that's why I don't tell it. I haven't told the story in years. But now we move to another house, and I call Marilyn Edwards, the woman who was doing the spiritual practice in St. Augustine, and I'm like, I'm seeing this stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on. Can you give me an answer? She's like, I've been expecting your call. I was like, okay. I was like, have you really been expecting my call? Like, no, or are you just saying that?
No, I bet you.
And she's like, I'll try, like, unless you come down here, which I only lived like 45 minutes from her at the time. And like, I could have done it, but I didn't. And she calls me back and is like, has something to do with your grandfather. And I was like, all right, witch grandfather. And she's like, it's not bad. And I was like, okay. And she tells me to read this book, and I wrote it down. I'll try to remember what it is, but it has to do with like talking to the undead. And then all of a sudden, that creature that was in my bed at the one house in Florida and in Georgia is now at the end of my bed here. And the girlfriend at the time said I would wake up in the middle of the night and just point at it. Yeah, I would just point at it, and then X amount of time goes by again, and I wake up one night and it's standing next to me, just right there, and I relapse like that week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was right there, and it is just in its dark clothing, and now it is literally next to me.
Oh my God, I'm really tearing up. That's horrifying.
Oh, it is. It was so scary. And she said it multiple times. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I would just point at this thing. I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't say anything. And then I would lay back down. And she would be like, do you know what you were doing last night? And I'd try to like have a memory of it. And I'd be like, I think, and it would be in the corner of the room. It'd be at the end of the bed. It'd be there. But it got like, I wasn't welcoming it in, but it would get closer and closer. And
whoa.
And then that thing, when I was just going through the struggle of up and down again and relapse and recovery, that's when I would see him. And every time they got closer is when. So now when I see him, because I have to immediately pray, something like that, because I don't know what it is. I'm afraid that like it means something bad, I think. So.
Do you feel like now, so I, at this point, know a lot of stories from your family. And I think, I don't want to like air out her stuff, but I think that I know your youngest sister.
Yeah.
And so I've heard her stories through the documentary that you guys have. I've, just through talking to her throughout our childhood. And so do you feel like this is something that maybe runs in your family, that you guys can see spirits?
Well, for a long time, I thought I was somewhat of like a medium.
Yeah.
Like, is it median or medium?
Mom.
It's a mum. I thought it was a mum for a while. I guess. And I used to, there was this other person I knew that I would say that to because she was kind of into this. And I'd be like, I can feel people's energy. Like, I can really walk in a room and like kind of see, like, I can like see their battery. Like, I don't know, in a way. And so I guess maybe.
I think you are.
That I'm like in touch with some kind of other spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not really practicing it though. Like, it doesn't scare me as much as it used to. It used to mean something bad was about to happen.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, because Colleen had that when she was younger, but she's never talked about ever experiencing that anymore, though. Well,
I think and I'm not an expert by any means, but I definitely think a lot of mediums, a lot of moms will say that that everybody has this capability. It's just like you said, like exercising it. But also, I don't know. Hearing your stories, talking about how you've seen this regularly, like, and there's different types of beings that you're seeing, and you're seeing other people's like batteries, you described it as, seeing their energy. I don't know, that to me it sounds like, but you also, I think it's important to know how you identify. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, nah, I don't really. I think my brother, he definitely he's like, I don't know if I would call him a medium, but he has seen a lot of spirits. He can sense stuff. He's had like crazy out of body experiences from when he was a kid. Like, he had one during a baseball game as a kid. He said he was standing on the other side of the field watching his team celebrate, including him. Yeah, and he's a kid. Yeah, like crazy stuff like that. But he he's like, no, I don't want it. Like, he totally rejects it. So I don't know. I guess
I don't see. I've gotten to the point. I don't reject it. I've accepted it now to be like, oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Because I don't really feel there's it's really good stuff that happens. So I wish it was more good. I don't know if it's like Sixth Sense and it's like, I see dead people. And then doesn't he kind of help at the end? Doesn't he help a couple of them, I think?
I don't remember.
Or he's just trying to say, hey, they're not that bad. They're just trying to communicate with me because they can.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember the movie, but it's funny that you kind of bring this up because I've been thinking about this a lot. I think, a lot of people ask me if I'm scared to do what I do. But I think I have been very fortunate where I haven't had these like crazy negative experiences. I've actually had not like very positive. I mean, my parents' house had ghosts growing up my whole life, and they were scary, especially when I was younger. I was like, this is terrifying. But when I look back on it as a kid, like I didn't see a woman crawling up the staircase, or I didn't see, like these like really horrible scenes laid out in front of me. And even still, if I go back through different experiences that I've had of seeing spirits, they're not scary. They're really not. They're friendly, or they don't talk to me. They just wave to me or something like that.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah. So
wait, you've seen spirits wave to you?
Yes. So I have this weird reoccurring situation where I've had a lot of different strange experiences where even to this day, I don't really know if they're ghosts because they looked like an everyday person to me. But I can be honest that everyone around me in that moment was not reacting to that person or has no recollection of seeing them, doesn't remember me interacting with them. So like one of my favorite examples of this was when I was in college. I went away on a summer vacation with my friend's family, and we were at a diner in Florida, and this was maybe like 11 a.m. sun is shining. I'm sitting at the head of the table, and the waiter took our order and then walked away. So I'm sitting at the head of the table, and this man comes up to me. So he's a very, very tall Indian man, and he's got a big belly, and he's dressed completely in all black. So he has black slacks, black button-up shirt. But he comes up so close to me that I go like, like his belly was like, I was like, whoa, and like, he's so close to me. And I look up at him, and he's looking down at me, and he smiles, and then he bows to me. Now this is in the middle of a diner, and I'm in college. So like, and my friend is like, he's between me and my friend. And then he just walks away, and no one at the table reacted. Like normally, you'd be making eyes at your friend and be like, oh, that's weird. But I'm trying like not to make a scene because he's still in the room. So he's walking around the room. The whole breakfast goes by. He's walking around the room the entire time. He keeps looking at me. I'm just trying to mind my own business and like ignore it. And then at the end of the breakfast, we stand up. We're all leaving. And when I finally stood up, I see him across the room, and he straightens up, and he looks at me, and he smiles, and he bows to me again. And I didn't know what to do. So I smiled and I bowed back. Okay. I didn't know what to do. And then I walked out of that restaurant. My head went through the roof. I was like, you guys see that guy bowing to me? Like, I was like, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like the whole group that I was with was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, the guy was huge. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Who am I talking about? No one, still to this day, my friend who was with me, she has no memory of this. They have no idea who I was talking about. And honestly, I mean, that's like probably the only moment I remember on the vacation, like from all the way back then.
Did you feel like he was a spirit at all?
No.
Was it so real that you think that it wasn't a spirit?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially in the moment. I was like, no, this is a person. But that is actually, it's happened to me before. So that was kind of why, like, I kind of got the indication, like, okay, maybe something was off. When I was younger, there was another time I was walking along the beach. I was trying to get back to like the place we had rented. My cousin left me in the dust. My dad and my brother are way far behind me. And so now I'm sort of alone on the beach, and the sun is setting. And as I'm walking, I look up, and these two little girls are standing a few feet away from me, waving to me. They have like sand buckets, and like it's all normal, whatever. And I wave to them, and I look up, and there are there's what I thought was a mom and a dad sitting on a blanket, like towards the dunes. And they waved to me too. So I waved to everyone, and I take like maybe 2 or 3 more steps. And I just had this like internal voice say to me, like, turn around. And I turned around and they were completely gone. And I remember thinking, not that they were ghosts, but I remember thinking, how did they get off the beach so fast? Like, they had toys everywhere. Their kids were by the water. They were up by the dunes. I only took like 2 steps. So I did get freaked out at that moment. I turned around. I went sprinting backwards looking for my dad. Yeah, so there was that. I'm trying to think. Oh, one day I was leaving an event that I had. I'm an MC as well. So I was leaving an event that I had at somebody's house, and I went to go get a sweater at my car. And so I had to go down this really long driveway and get to my car. And I look up, and it's nighttime. I look up, and there's an old man standing by my car, right in front of the driver's door. He's standing at the car, and he has a dog in hand, but they're like both frozen looking. And they're just staring at me. I stood there. I tried to act like I was on my phone for a second, like, oop, pause. Wasn't moving for like longer than I liked. So I just turned around and I booked it back to my boss. And I was like, and I went over to him really quick and I was like, okay, so real quick, sometimes I see ghosts and I think there's one at my car, and please bring me to my car so I can get my sweater. Oh,
your ghost experience is way different than mine.
Yes. I have seen a shadow person before, but not to the extent that you have. But yeah, mine are not.
You see like people.
Yes. They don't look. Yeah, I don't see. Like, they're like, yeah, physical people.
Yeah, mine are weird. Mine, I do not mistake them for.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I've seen the people with the little girl too. Then the girl crawling up the stairs. But mine are more like these entities.
Yeah, yours remind me of like sleep paralysis stories.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, which I think sleep paralysis, like people say like, oh, it's just a dream state. I don't think so. I think that sleep paralysis, you are entering another realm. You are seeing these things. Like, that's my belief. And if that is true, then like you were seeing into that specific realm. That's my belief.
You think it's just our mind is... That's where I start to question it. Like, is my mind just not able to understand that it's a different realm, or am I just malfunctioning?
Well, I think that we don't... like, this is where I get weird about certain like terminology. Like, let's say like the term demon. Now, fun fact really quick, so my dad actually raised my brother and I as atheists when we were kids, until I was about 10 or 11 years old. So when I started seeing ghosts, it was very confusing to me because I didn't think that there was an afterlife as a kid. And so to me, like, my first ghost experience that I can remember, I saw a man in my parents' laundry room. I didn't think it was a ghost. I thought somebody broke in. I think it was a ghost now because I don't think somebody when I look back on the chain of events, I don't think somebody broke in. But I was very confused for a long time about afterlife and things like that. Sometimes when we're talking about the paranormal, I think a lot of terminology is rooted in specific religions, like Catholicism and so on and so forth. And it's not to say that, like, now I'm a very spiritual person now, and I'll use the same terminology as anyone.
Or,
well, just like, ghost, spirit, angel, God, this, that, demons, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like, ultimately we don't know. We don't really know, and that's okay. Like what you're talking about in terms of another realm and what is it? Is your brain not understanding it? I mean, yeah, probably. That is my belief, that we probably just really don't know. I think mediums know, but until you meet one.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
They might know a little more.
A little more.
But they don't know like the afterlife.
You're right.
Yet.
Yeah, not like all knowing.
I mean, you ever look up near-death experiences?
Yes.
Because I love those.
So interesting.
The first time, I remember being sober for a while and I couldn't cry. It was odd. Like I just could not, like I remember trying to cry for like a year and a half being sober, and I would think like, I thought I was supposed to be so sad and I couldn't cry. And then I read this book on near-death experiences, and it's the most in-depth story at the time, I guess. And of this one woman, I don't even remember the story, but I remember crying after that book.
Wow.
And there's a whole podcast on near-death experiences, and I do believe in them.
Yeah, they're so fascinating. There's something called like, have you heard of the third man? What is it? The third man theory?
Mm-mm.
So with near-death experiences, the third man theory sometimes plays a role where it's this idea. People, let's say you were in a car accident and people are like, I was pulled out of the car by this person. They have a full memory of being pulled out of the car by a person. They were interacting with this person.
Yeah, okay, I've heard this.
Yeah, so that's the third man theory. Things like experiences like that. I think those are really interesting too.
So then there's just a battle of light and dark going on all the time, where I'm seeing these like somewhat dark entities, right, that are sadly, I guess you might have the good ones you're seeing. You're seeing just a friendly Indian man. I'm seeing like this demonic thing floating at the end of my bed. But yeah, seems crawling up the stairs. I'm like, don't contact me. Why can't I get an Indian man?
Well,
but like,
what I was gonna say, do you like have boundaries with your ghosts? Like, if I have very clear,
haven't practiced any, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have very clear boundaries. Like, okay, so like I live in an apartment that's definitely haunted. It's in Bristol. Or like visited or whatever you want to say. But, it's an old town. And so when I first moved in, I just set some very clear boundaries.
I mean, I've saged a house or two that I've lived in for sure. And I have talked to them. I have done this. Because when I was experiencing a bunch of this, I was like, stay away. Like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead with your boundaries that you set up.
Well, they're not allowed to be at the end of my bed. They're not allowed, and I say this out loud.
I should start that
one.
Yeah,
no, you're not allowed at the end of my bed. You're not allowed in my doorway. That's a big fear of mine. Like Harry Potter traumatized me as a child. When Voldemort comes in through the door, that scene where he's like coming to the house in that cloak.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
Right. And
he's looking for Harry.
The door. Yeah.
Like.
That scared. It still like brings tears to my eyes. I don't know.
That's who I was seeing, I think. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes. So they're not allowed in my doorway. I have a thing with doorways. I don't like them very much.
Yeah. Who does? Okay.
Right. They're freaky. They're weird. When I had a hinge. Sorry to diverge for, but like when I had Hinge for 5 seconds, it says, "What's your irrational fear?"
Fucking put doorways, dude.
I put when people.
You're like Charlie from Always Sunny, dude.
I said when people. That's actually more accurate than I'd like to admit. I said when people stand in doorways, like don't stand, like move. You're in one room or you're in the other. Don't stand.
Is it a pet peeve or like you just?
Yeah, I guess it's more of a pet peeve, but I just like in general, I don't like it. And like, I don't want my ghost to do it. And it's not really a pet peeve. Like I'm not icked out by you. I'm freaked out. Like you're making me uncomfortable.
Did you really put this on your Hinge?
Yeah, it was on my Hinge. Yeah. Yes.
People probably screenshotted that being like, yeah.
Yeah, I hope they did.
Girls afraid of doorways, dude.
I hope they did. I like to be unique. But yeah, so that's what's the thing. Don't jiggle my doorknob.
Ah, yeah.
Don't stand in my mirror.
Ooh.
Scary.
Yeah. Now there's two of you.
Oh my God. Like imagine just like, oh my God, that's like, you ever like wash your face and suddenly I just started to get so like, I'm like putting water on my face like so quickly because I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be a person behind me. Like, have you ever had that feeling?
No, that's everyone's fear. Everyone's got that fear for sure.
Oh,
like, don't look in the rear view mirror. Oh, when I drive at night at home, I do a double take.
Oh God.
It's just the headrest, but I think it's a person sometimes.
Yes. Oh my God. Always. I'm
for
like,
sure.
No, there's a person. I'm trying to think of my other room. I mean, you can't I guess definitely don't stand in my window because I am on the second floor. So if you're in the window, you shouldn't be there.
Probably floating.
Yeah. I think that's really it.
Oh, so you'd say these to the ghosts when you come in?
Oh,
no doorways, no under the bed, no mirrors, and no second story windows?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We have
That's
full conversations.
They have free roam with the rest of the house, though?
Yeah.
What about like bathtubs? Like,
I mean, that's okay, I guess.
okay.
That's okay. Like, that's fine. Like, they can like hang out with me and they can like watch TV with me. They can sit next to me.
I guess I've done that where I like try to talk to them, like, hey, well, if you're here, I'm here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, especially, like, have you had experiences in the Continental Tavern?
The first experience I had when they first opened it, I was there like 2 a.m. closing up, and it sounded like, and this is the only thing I could think of, and this is the first thought that came to my mind when it happened, was it sounded like a chain or an anchor from a boat. Like I thought, like it must have been some heavy linked chain just hit the ground and then drag across the floor when I was on the first floor, and it sounded like it came from the third floor. But this fear kind of came over me to the point where I just left because it felt like that. But I close up the bar on Saturday nights, but okay, so kind of talking about this, I know that I can experience these things. So at 2 a.m. when I'm leaving, I do think to myself, I make sure I turn out the one light last, and then I go, God, I hope I don't fucking experience shit. And so I kind of hit that last light, and I make that same way out the door because I don't want to turn around. I don't want to look in. I don't want to look into the kitchen through the one window. I don't want to because I don't want to feel anything. And but then I have to go, is this in my head or am I gonna actually experience something? So no, I haven't really had the experience that no, I guess not. Maybe I felt something, but then I'm questioning it. Am I really feeling this, or am I thinking that I could feel something, so I'm feeling something? So no, I never really had that experience at the tavern.
I actually had an experience in the Continental Tavern with your sister actually, and with my brother. Really? Also that anchor thing, that is an experience. But anyway, yes, there was this one day where, and your mom and dad remember me from this day, but like we all had to like search our brains because it was a long time ago. I must have been in high school or early college or something like that. We were there for a soccer banquet. My mom and I are running around the tavern taking pictures in different corners trying to find orbs.
Okay.
Whatever, we're just being dorks about it. But me and my siblings, we went to Colleen and we were like, hi, like, what are your ghost experiences? And then she's telling us, and then she's like, do you want to see the third floor? And we were like, yes, we want to see the third floor. So she takes us up there, and it looked a lot different than maybe it didn't look a lot different, but when I went up there recently with your dad, I had a different memory of the layout. So maybe over the years it's changed. But when we went up there were the shelves of, all the bottles. And there was a table. So the shelves made like a U shape, and then there was a table in the middle. And I remember walking around this U, and my siblings were around like elsewhere. I took out my phone and I said to Colleen, I said, hey, do you mind, like, can I take a picture? And she didn't respond. So I like said out loud, which is very funny now looking back, I said out loud, I was like, I'm just going to take one. And as I went to take it, the lights went out. And so I'm standing there with my phone in my hand, and we're like, and then the light went back on, and we're all looking at each other. And it was like that, like Spider-Man.
Oh, I've never heard this story.
So we're like, and then the light went off on. And I felt like there was a ghost up there playing with us. All three of us went sprinting. I remember being so amazed by Colleen because she like kept her composure, and she just like calmly walked behind us, and like me and my sibling are sprinting down the stairs. And I went and told your mom, and your mom was like, so weird. She's like, there isn't a light switch up there. It's a plug.
Oh, maybe at that time.
Yeah, so she's like, you would have to like unplug the whole. But I also just thought the timing of the light going out was impeccable. Like right as I was like, oh, I'm gonna take the picture, boom, light went out. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Have you ever called a ghost on a picture?
Not myself, but not like on my phone. I have been sent incredible video from friends or friends of friends just because, everybody, that's how people know me. So they're like, anytime they have a cool video, they're sending it to me, which I appreciate always. I'm like, send me all your videos.
Do you have them? You don't have to show them now, but.
Well, you know what? I'm going to text my boyfriend. He has a friend that sent him one of the craziest videos I've ever seen it's like on a Ring camera, and it straight up looks like a girl is just walking down the stairs and around the corner. Like it's incredible. He just showed it to me. Like his friend was like, oh yeah, like show her this video. Anyway, so I have that one. My team has gotten, from what I've experienced, really, really cool EVPs. So an EVP is an electric voice phenomenon, and we've caught them through recorders or through the voice box. And I can show you those. I have them if you would like to hear them.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to talk over here. So we have, so I'm going to tell you this one story.
See, that's where I think there's so many Ring cameras and so many cameras out there these days. Like, why wouldn't there be so many of these things called? Again, aliens too.
Yes, but there's so many. There must be. But it also is like, people are like, so many people dismiss their own experiences.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I get, like, not like annoyed, but I'm like, I had this one friend I lived with her for a long time. And she didn't really believe, now this is not the roommate I was talking about earlier, but this is a different roommate. But she didn't really believe in ghosts. But one day she comes to me, this is after like 7-8 years of living together, and her grandmother had just passed away. And now her grandmother had, I believe she had dementia or something like that. So in her grandmother's home, they had cameras set up like all around the house, just for her grandmother's safety. So they actually were able to catch the moment, like the time of when her grandma passed away. And so my friend was like, Emma, I need to show you this video. Perfect. Thank you. So she shows me this video, and at the exact time that her grandmother passed away, an orb leaves her body in bed and goes like flying out the room.
So she was there?
Yeah. She was in bed, and she died.
Have you ever heard of, there was a movie I think called 28 Grams?
No. Oh my God. It's 222. Yeah.
That.
Sir, 222 is so significant to us.
It is a movie about what they believe how much the soul weighs.
Oh.
And it's called 28 grams. And I think it's like 28.6 grams or something like that is how much the soul weighs. That it's a weird phenomenon that every time, if you can weigh someone, and then right after they pass away, you weigh them again, it's like 28 grams that they are less.
Oh.
And that's what they believe.
Kind of like sweet.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Like, that's like, oh, you're sweet. Like your soul. I was like, wait. I don't know, like you could hold it.
So that's what they believe, is that that's the way to your soul. And so like that orb, probably 28 grams.
Oh my gosh. I have to
now
watch that.
I weirdly, like, I remember that was like a childhood thing. That's an older movie, but I kind of weirdly believe in that. Like if and I've heard of other experiences of people, having that where someone passes away and an orb leaves them, or like have you ever watched that TV show called Evil?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. So you're going to like send me down a rabbit hole. Like I will watch it when I'm home.
This show's about a guy who works for the Catholic Church. So it's kind of a fun show, actually. But a guy works for the Catholic Church. He's not a priest yet, but he's studying to be a priest. and he has these experiences with demons. And then a lawyer and an IT guy. And I think it's a few seasons. But he goes in there and he believes that everything is a demon.
Oh.
And the lawyer makes sure they're not doing it. And so they're getting calls. I guess someone's calling the Catholic Church and they're saying, we've tried everything. We think we might need your help. Like, my son is acting this way. My wife, my husband's acting this way. We need your help now. Like, we tried psychiatric help. We tried all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So they show up to the house. He's always going to believe that there's like a demon attachment. The IT guys, or I guess he's like an IT guy, believes that there's going to be some other reason for it, meaning like some weird copper in the pipes and that's making you a little crazy, or the sound is really coming from this part of the house. Mm-hmm. Then the lawyer shows up to just make sure, and she's an atheist. Okay. Just to make sure that they're doing everything correctly. Mm-hmm. But you should watch that because each experience, you leave every episode with it solved by the IT guy, but also you believe that it's like some kind of possession.
Oh, that's cool. I'm definitely going to watch it.
And there's definitely demons in it. And talk about attachment to that, because there's episodes in it where like I felt really weird after watching the episode. Like I felt like I shouldn't be watching the show. Yeah, you should watch it because
watch it.
It's called Evil. I think you can watch it on Netflix.
Okay.
But I remember my mother was even watching it being like, I feel weird after watching this show.
Weird.
Like almost as if it's like, I'm going to have an experience if I keep watching it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's going to freak me out. I'm going to watch it. And again, back to that idea of, you talked about the IT guy talking about like copper. That's something that we look for in investigations. So when we go into a house and we start an investigation, one of the first things that we do is we sweep the house with an EMF detector. And we are looking for high amounts of electricity because that can make people feel very uncomfortable. So if you have like an electric box in a specific spot and people are like, oh, I won't go to that end of the basement. If we go back there and we find like a really big electric box, we're like, it's very possible that it's just because of the electricity box. It just, makes people feel uncomfortable.
There's that weird theories about Teslas now and stuff that like you're sitting inside of an electrical field.
Oh yeah. I feel like with all the electricity happening, I mean, we could get into a whole rabbit hole of this, but I feel like with our phones and like the electric car, it's just it's not good for us.
I don't think it's good for us. No.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
I mean, I definitely like to go out and ground a little bit, stand in the grass and get the energy from the earth.
Yes,
right? Which is
people that all the time.
Yeah.
I tell people, and it's not an insult by any means. I don't mean it to be, but like if people are upset or they like have a lot going on, I say you need to go touch grass.
Go outside.
Yeah, go
outside. All right, what is this that you're going to show us?
Okay, I have to give you some backstory.
Sure. Yeah.
So my team, Lower Bucks Paranormal Society, because I want to cite it properly also, because after this, I'm going to make sure it's okay with them that we have it here. So I'm going to cite it properly. So this was caught by Lower Bucks Paranormal Society on their investigation of Daddy Tom's Cocktail Lounge in Bristol, Pennsylvania. So in that building, we believe that there's at least one ghost, and his name is Charlie. We refer to him as Charlie. We believe that Charlie died. Now, this is all just speculation based off of different research and, our investigation and things like that. So, take with it what you will. But there's a man named Charles Stromfeld that died in the building across the street of, we'll call it DT. That's Daddy Tom's. So, Charles Stromfeld was about 35 years old. He died across the street. Now, there's tunnel systems that run underneath Bristol, similar to Yardley. And there's only one tunnel that runs perpendicular to Mill Street. And that is right underneath DT and the building across the street. The only time that Charlie has been physically seen is he's been seen down in the basement running in the direction of that tunnel. So
in the tunnel or in the direction of the tunnel?
Well, he's like the thing is, the tunnel is the basement but it's blocked off halfway. You know what I mean? Like how they're blocked off in Yardley. And so it's blocked off underneath Daddy Tom's. And essentially, if he were to run through that brick wall, he'd be going through the tunnel all the way to the building.
Gotcha.
So I bring this all up because when my team did the investigation, my coworkers were there. I wasn't there, but my coworker was there, and her name is Annie. We've been best friends since we were 13. This is also relevant because I'll tell you more stories. Okay. But we've been best friends since we were 13. We both work at DT together, and we believe that the ghost really likes Annie or has some kind of connection to her. When she was in the room, at one point she leaves the room, and we capture this EVP. Would you like me to tell you what we think it says first, or do you want to hear it first?
I want to hear it first, and I want to see if I can make it out.
All right. I'll just do it right in here. You'll be able to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll just turn it up just in case. You want me to play it again?
Yeah. Oh. So far, it sounds like Chris.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's funny that you say you think it sounds like Chris, because that's actually the lead investigator of our team. That's
it sounds like Chris.
We believe that it sounds like Where Is She? So I'll play it one more time if you want to hear it.
Yeah. I think it sounds like a guy named Chris, but... Oh, definitely sounds like Where Is She?
No, but that's kind of crazy. They said Chris. Anyway, so we believe that was referring to Annie when she left the room. And so that's a fun little EVP that we've captured. We also captured down the street. We did, and now this is all now for anyone listening. If you come on our ghost tour this year, you will hear this. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek. If you come to our Spirits on Mill ghost walk.
Yeah, when is that?
So that will start Wednesday, September 17th is the first date. And it'll run every Wednesday until mid-November.
Is that walking or is that in a...
It is walking, yes. So
I'll do it. On... Wednesday, September 17th?
Yes.
All right, I'll be
And
there.
It's every Wednesday. So you could come, get your tickets sooner rather than later, because they tend to sell out. But yes, come. And you'll hear all this information. But as a little sneak peek, we did another investigation down the street at a bookstore. And, this will be a cool thing to tell you about. There's something called the Estes method. Have you heard of that before?
No.
So the Estes method, or Estes method, is basically where you take a voice box, which we talked about already, and you stick headphones into it. And a person puts those headphones on, and they also put a blindfold over their eyes, or they close their eyes. And so the idea is sensory deprivation here. Now, that person kind of acts as a vessel. Anything that they hear in their headphones, they're going to say it out loud. And it's really freaky to do.
What are the headphones like?
They're just plugged into the voice box. Like they're plugged into the radio. And so then everyone else in the room is either just listening or they're asking questions. The person with the headphones on can't hear any of the questions that are being asked. And the reason that we do this is kind of just like it's just another like scientific method of testing these things out.
That's kind of cool. Okay.
It's really fun. It's really cool. And you don't have to be like special to put the headphones on. It can be anybody. So whenever we do investigations, we just like invite anyone to put them on if they feel called to it. So my teammate at this one particular investigation, well, we were all kind of passing it around. Nobody was really getting anything. My one teammate, Sherry, she is Chris's wife. She stands up. She's like, give it to me. She's like, she felt called to it. So she puts it on. And Chris starts asking her questions. And she goes, I can't talk to you. And mind you, she doesn't know Chris is talking to her. And he's like, what? You can't talk to me? And she's like, I can't talk to you. And everyone's like, okay, well, who do you want to talk to? She says, only the blonde. And
Are you the blonde?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing is that there were two blondes in the room. So they're like, okay, well, which one? And it said, the one always behind the bar. And so, and I work at the Speakeasy. So everyone looks at me, and they're like, all right, Emma, the floor is yours. So I say, okay, hi, my name is Emma. What's your name? And Sherry says, Charlie. And we stood up like it was the damn Super Bowl. We were like, what? So we're all like, oh my God. And then while we're freaking out, Sherry then takes her headphones and she throws them off. And we're like, what? What did it say? She's like, oh my God, clear as day, clearer than I've ever heard it in my life. She's like, I heard it say, I want Annie.
What the hell?
Yes. Which also, okay, a lot of layers to this.
What do you mean? What does he mean?
We don't know. We don't know. I wish. No, Sherry was like, I'm so freaked out. We didn't really get any further, unfortunately. But what I thought was so crazy was that everyone in that room, I think, knows Annie. Like we all either know her from Mill Street or, from the ghost investigations or what have you. But I definitely, out of everyone in that room, have known her the longest and am the closest to her.
Oh, so she's asking you for her.
Yeah. Like that's what I thought was crazy.
What do you think that means? What does he want with Annie?
People think, everyone said they think he has a crush on her.
Yeah.
Which, like, I could.
Has she ever tried to talk to him?
When they did the investigation at Daddy Tom's, she was. But, I mean, she's there. She works there every day. Like, she doesn't really have a ton of
Okay.
Actually, there's a thing, and we do talk about this on the tour. The ghost tends to call people to the back room, which is horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah. This sounds bad, dude.
It's like, it has happened to me like once, but it happens to Annie mostly. Like where like her name will be called from the back event space. She'll walk all the way back there and the lights are off. And so I don't know I don't know if Annie has tried to talk to the ghost. I have had that experience where I like thought my coworker was calling me back there, got all the way back there, nobody's there.
So it sounds like the other person's voice.
Mm-hmm. That to me is one of the scariest, like voice stuff scares me more than most things.
Okay, this is where I don't think it's friendly. Like
they say it's not good.
Yeah. So there's this one story I heard recently where this guy, he's a hunter. Mm-hmm. And he's out in the woods hunting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
And he's up in his perch and he sees this thing come running through the woods. And he says it's the scariest hunting story he's ever had. He sees it runs through the woods like on all fours. And it's coming towards him. And all of a sudden it smells like an area that he just was like his campsite or something. It smells his campsite. And so then after that, it sniffs its way and finds its way to where he is, like beneath his perch, right? And it gets down in like a crouched position, looks up at him, and in a woman's voice starts saying, help, I need help me. And saying like, I'm cold, I'm hungry, can you help me?
Ew.
And oh
God.
So he has a rifle and he takes a shot near it to try to scare it, and he says it shuffles in a direction away from his car. So he said he was so terrified by this, he got down from his perch and ran to his car because it was moving away from it. Yeah, and that's that's like a mockingbird. I think those things are demonic. Okay.
I mean, mockingbird.
By the way, I have a hatred against those birds. I really do, and that's another story. But like,
I'm not a bird person either, so I support you. Voice stuff is not good.
Like, why would it do that? It knows what it's doing. It's luring you in.
Yes. They say that, if like you're in a home and a ghost starts mimicking you, it's really not a good sign.
Fuck, that just gave me the chills.
So sorry.
If that thing starts mimicking me, I'm like, you're annoying. You know?
No, but also it's just so actually, a friend of mine. Okay. Wow. A lot of my stories are surrounding my previous roommates today, but another person that I lived with, she calls me recently and she said that her and her partner just bought a new house. She said that the second that they bought this new house, they've started having ghost experiences in their apartment where they currently live. One of them being like her partner was at home. And they have, funny enough, in their apartment, they have an unusually large bathroom. Like it's like a whole second room, the bathroom, which is fun. But anyway, they're in there. Okay. Her partner is in there with their dog. And my roommate is not home, is away, far away at basketball practice. And her partner is in the bathroom and hears Kyla's voice come in and say, River, which is their dog's name. In like, and I can hear her voice saying it now, like a very, very unalarming, very kind, like melodic voice. And so her partner thought it was her. And, she comes out and like, was looking around and, they were like, oh my gosh, Kyla isn't home. So they call her and Kyla's like, oh, no, I'm still at basketball. Like I'm like far away. The apartment is also not, it's essentially like an open, what is that called? Like an open concept?
Or open floor plan?
Open floor, yeah, that's what it is. So, anyway. I hate it.
I don't know if I think that would be more terrifying than seeing something.
I agree. No, I think it brings tears to my eyes. I've seen videos on TikTok. Everyone sends it to me. And I'm like, okay, I didn't stop it. No, don't stop.
Now, okay.
But like, stop it.
If people are sending you these things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop it, but don't stop it. Send them, but don't send them. But like, if people are, do you think that you're welcoming this into your life?
Yeah, and I get scared about that.
Because you're going to welcome in the wrong thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to. And I'm actually very, very, and you talked about praying, I am very, very intentional with praying as well and setting like a guard up. Yeah. They actually say too, and this has happened recently on a recent investigation, Chris, the lead investigator, he always says, like, you need to tell the spirits here that they cannot come home with you. Like, you need to tell them you cannot come back. And so I haven't really felt it to be necessary until the last one we just did. I was in the car and I was like, no, I had that fun. And it even went so far as I was going up my stairs to my apartment and I just kind of turned around and was like, you cannot come any further.
See, this is what I thought my attachment was in Georgia. I thought I brought something with me from St. Augustine, Florida, up to Pennsylvania, down to Georgia.
Wow.
That's like the thought that crossed my mind. And when I say that, like, I think those things that just somehow wound up in your mind are true, kind of. And I forget what I used to think it was. But yeah, 100%. I think it was attachment that had followed me around for years. And Marilyn Edwards, the one woman, she said that there was an attachment on me. She said it was like the size of a gorilla, though. And that sucks.
That's huge.
That's pretty big. Yeah, it's bigger than me. But
that's huge.
That's not good. So you tell the spirit you can't come in. You can't.
Yeah, and then I hope that
they listen. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
It's that simple. And you think a ghost is like, shit.
Yeah, like, dang it. Tell me. It's like a vampire.
I came all the way.
It's like a vampire. You can't come in. Well,
that's what I think of. When you were saying this before, I was going to go to the vampire thing. Like, if you say they can't come in, they can't come in.
Yeah. I do believe that we are the commanders of this realm. So yes, there are other realms, but like, I believe that we are the commanders of this realm.
Well, that's a part of like the Bible kind of talks about that we're kind of given that power. I'm not a Bible thumper. I've never read the entire thing from front to back before, but I do kind of believe that God kind of gave us that power but he also kind of gave the power to the other side too, to allow it to happen.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really fascinating.
Well, why would he allow it to happen then? Yeah, I do kind of, but then you can go into like, if we want to go into conspiracy theories and such.
Yes.
For sure. You can do that. Oh, we can do a whole another podcast on conspiracies, but Illuminati, Freemasonry, things like that, of those dark arts, they're 100%. It seems like from what I've watched and read and such, there are dark forces there. Yeah. That they've just people who have allowed those in, and now they're kind of vessels to, orchestrate this plan that. Well, you've never seen like the Rothschild thing where they always.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah.
They've always left the chair at the end of the table open, and they say it's for Lucifer, who's the light bearer. For the light bearer is what they would say, which is Lucifer.
Yeah.
So
that's when you say that, like, now this is sending me down a spiral of, I was about to say, like, I love people. I love humans. Okay. I think that we are such a fascinating species because we're so curious and we're so curious, but also like throughout our history. Okay. So one thing that really fascinates me are burials. And
you're one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But like the tradition of that. So when we look at our history and you see that, like, for example, mummification was used throughout the whole world at a time where, like, obviously there was not a lot of communication between continents. So you see that mummification, and it's at the same time. They're all doing it at the same time. Or, and so if you look at how we handle death throughout our history, there's this very strange, to me, phenomenon where we're all kind of handling it the same way, at the same point in history, like as a collective, even though communication or conversation or whatever wasn't as prevalent as it is today. And so I think that that's a really, again, the way that...
Like, why were the people in Egypt practicing the exact same type of burial that they were in South America? Yeah. You say that? Well, there's a whole theory on that. It's like, people could say it's quantum physics or the string theory or whatnot, that we're just living in this intergalactic web, that no thought is actually an original thought. It's just up there for you to grab it. And because there's been other things, there's like pretty much any invention that's happened around the world that we think is, even Newton, like his laws and whatnot, someone else was doing that at the exact same time and they never communicated. So there was a lot of other inventions that were happening, even the light bulb, things like that. They were all happening in different parts of the world. But why were they happening in different parts of the world? Because, I mean, there was this indigenous tribe that they just found in South America. They have bow and arrows. They have all these other things that you would be like, oh, well, how did they have that? Why does everyone have a bow and arrow?
Exactly. At the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how was that right? And so, what were we talking about right before this?
Burials.
Burials, yeah, but right before, like, why did I get into burials?
Burials have always fascinated you.
There was a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason that we.
Well, why do they fascinate you?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Well, no, I think it's like collective consciousness.
Oh,
I think that's what it is. Going back to
human beings fascinate you.
Yeah. Like the Lucifer thing. Oh. Like leaving the empty chair open. Leaving, like, it's just so, there's so many, like, you don't really do that on your day-to-day basis, but there's some
leave the empty
extremely, but there's some, like, extremely powerful family out there that is doing that. And then you're like, oh, do they know something that I don't know? Or,
yes.
Or are they just highly spiritual? Or are they crazy? Or is it like...
I do think that they practice some kind of something.
You think that they know something you don't know?
Yeah, I do.
The Rothschilds?
I think there is an occult, yeah.
Oh.
Like, I do.
Yeah, but is it like...
And do I think it's all... I'm not saying it's all bad, though.
Right,
okay?
Yeah.
Like, we see the bad of it. and we like conspiracies. So we'll look into, who's that one witch that's always photographed with celebrities? She's on like the cover of Travis Scott's like new album now. I forget what her name is.
I feel like she's
do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Isn't she like a dancer?
No, this is an older woman. There's also like Marina Abramovich or whatever.
I think
she's a spirit cooking woman. Do you know who I'm talking about? That?
I think so.
Like, that sort of thing. We see that dark side of it, right? Where we're like, oh, it must be dark. But I don't know. Then you go through the history of Freemasonry from even just to the building of America. Like, maybe it wasn't all that bad. I don't know. There's a weird theory about Egypt that this one guy, I stumbled upon him years ago. He wound up in jail for 4 years and then got out, but he was exposing all this, saying that the spirits of Egypt never died, the pharaohs never died, and that they still run the world. And like it was like, this is insane. I'm not going into this.
Wait, he went to jail?
He ended up going to jail.
Oh,
yeah. But some people say he went to jail to be silenced. So
right, okay.
His name was like Prawn Star or something like that, and that the spirits of the pharaohs never died, and that they've just taken over bodies of our leaders throughout history, and that's why you see in every single major city across the world is Egyptian symbology, right? From an obelisk to the way they build their cities, pyramids in every city.
Yeah,
you have the Baphomet in every city. If you look at like Baphomet statues in the United States, you'll find they're in like every major city. But he believed that the spirit, kind of to the mummification and such, that they have just taken over everybody, and they still run the world in this weird way. And why we don't know their technology, and why the Alexandria was burned down and all that, because so
that kills me.
Yeah.
Like that's something anyway, whatever. I was going to get onto libraries and the documentation of information, but yeah, it kills me that like
the Library of Alexandria was burned.
Yeah,
a couple times. I think it was burned a couple times.
Yeah,
I think they rebuilt it, burned down again. Yeah. Well, I don't even know what was in there. I'm not gonna wait. You know.
You don't.
So it's
you haven't been there.
Nah, no one told me. Yeah. No.
Wait, but so, do you kind of want to hold on this idea of the But I mean, if we think about past lives, like if we believe in past lives, like then these pharaohs are probably still around.
Yeah.
And if they were high performing,
so there's an elite of the spiritual world for sure, and then there's the peasants of the spiritual world. Maybe, I don't know. But that, like, is that reincarnation, or is that? I don't know what it would be called then.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to hear what I think my past life is?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So, I had a dream one day. Like I fell asleep at my parents' house, and this is when this came to me. I was a man, first of all.
Cool. And, how was it?
It was cool. I mean, I don't think I don't know, but I believe that I was a crew member on the Carpathia. You know what the Carpathia is?
Is that Alexander as well?
No. So the Carpathia is the ship that saved the survivors of the Titanic.
Oh.
Yes.
Jeez.
And so it's so specific. Like when I tell you this dream that I had, like it was the most real dream I've ever experienced in my life. I was a man. My hair was like long. It was brown. It was in a ponytail. I remember being told that I had to go on a lifeboat. Like I remember arriving at this location in the middle of the ocean, and I was told I had to go on a lifeboat and go down and search through the water for survivors. But I was also told that I had to collect any bodies that I found, because we had to bring them to New York for them to be buried. And so I remember the fear that I felt in my body so vividly. Like I could feel my whole body shaking. I remember I could smell the snow. You know the smell of snow? Like I could smell it around me. I was freezing. I remember too, you know how like, okay, so in this life, I feel like the way that I visualize my life or my past memories is like a line behind my head. and it goes like in a timeline almost. Like that's how I can
cool.
physically
All right.
visualize it. In that dream, I was aware that this was not Emma's timeline. Like I had skills, I had memories, I had like experiences that were this body's, and I don't know my name. I don't know what my name was, which kills me because I would love to look it up. But
you haven't tried to look up?
I have, but I can't find like I've searched like crew members of the Carpathia, but like there were hundreds, you know, like it's really hard to
like no name popped out and you're like, I am
no
Isaac.
I know no
Gentry.
Not yet, but I would love to go deeper, but not yet. But I remember
Are you English?
I am Italian, German, Irish.
Oh, he's gonna be Irish. All right, so sorry, I cut you off.
No.
Your story. Yeah.
Oh well, yes. So anyway, in that dream, I like one of the visions that I had, not visions, but like scenes that I remember was that like this is really horrible, and I'm so sorry for the graphicness, but I saw like birds, like like seagulls, like eating at bodies,
Mm-hmm.
and now in this life, I got really, really, really disturbed by the last time I went to the Statue of Liberty, I was like 10 years old. And I remember this day, the pigeons swarmed me and tried to eat my French fries. And the way that they looked like eating my French fries, it was the same imagery. And I didn't know this when I was 10 years old. But when I had this dream, I was like zapped back to like all these memories. Like, why did that make me so uncomfortable? Why did this horrify me to that extent? But yeah, the pigeons were like fighting each other for the French fries and their feathers were like all over. And I was like, ugh, like it was so awful to look at. And so there was that. I'm also not great with boats, which is weird because I think I was like a sailor in that life. And I've had good experiences with boats, but like when I was younger, I had a lot of bad experiences with boats, didn't like that. And I get very uncomfortable with any deep sea videos. Like, you know how on TikTok they like the yo.
Yeah.
Oh God. I can't even, I scroll past that so quick.
See, if I was a psychiatrist, I'm not, by the way. If I was, I would say you had an experience when you were a child that had to do with birds. All right. And then I'd say, was it I'd be a weird psychiatrist, right? So would it be just some, have you watched this movie? Have you did it? You know what I'm saying? How they try to explain it like that? Or I go like, maybe I shouldn't say I'm a psychiatrist, because also what if it wasn't, maybe that wasn't your past life. Maybe it was some, I'm just going to say it, even if it sounds weird, like some energy that just came through you at that time to have that memory of somebody else's memory. That's not a past life.
That's
though.
true.
You know what I mean? Like
yes,
if
that's true.
There's people like the astral projection people who they go back in time and they can see like the crucifixion of Jesus. Like, they're not Jesus. Are they having this weird, like they can travel through light years, like light year has memory or whatever that is, that it's maybe you were just having, even though it felt like an experience of a particular individual, maybe you're just seeing it through the eyes of,
maybe,
you know what I'm saying? So
very
why
possible.
do you think it was a past life then? Just because it was so real?
It just felt like I was I was just there and I was in that body and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like my soul has been in this body before. But
you know what I mean? I don't know.
But you're right. I mean, who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows what it really is?
Do you think we'll get these answers when we go on?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not like
You don't think we're just going to be lost and be like, damn it. Like, I didn't get any of these answers I thought we were going to get.
When we pass, I think we'll get them. Like in you know, when our souls go wherever they go, I think we'll get them.
Say you just need one answer. Say you're like, hey, God goes, all right, you're not going to get all the answers. I'm going to give you one. What would it be?
Oh,
that's tough, I guess.
No, but you know what? I think this actually goes to, I was thinking about this morning. Like when people ask me about an afterlife or like, is there an afterlife? And I was actually thinking about having this, like talking about this with you. I do believe in an afterlife. I believe that my past loved ones are there and are watching me and guiding me. But this is going to sound extremely personal, but I'm the type of person where like I will follow all the directions of setting up my TV, and for some reason my TV won't work. Or I will like follow all the instructions and like for some reason that thing won't work. Like that I go through the airport and like I'm like, no, I did everything I was supposed to. My backpack gets pulled to the side. I think I have this weird deep fear that like
you're gonna miss your flight to the afterlife.
I'll get to like the heavenly gates and like they'll be like, oh my god, we like lost the key.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I get
like, typical
like,
me.
like it just won't work for me for whatever reason, which is so ridiculous. So I think like I guess like the one question, and this is because I have a very deep rooted fear of, I'm extremely terrified of the concept of death, but it's not really death itself. It's like the loss of consciousness that I'm terrified of. Like I'm so terrified that like we just go into an abyss and like that's it, or like we just like are gone.
I have this, but then it comes back to like a faith or spirituality again. Like I have a weird, I didn't always have this, but I think I'll see my loved ones. Say when other loved ones pass on, like I don't look at it as such sadness. I'll never see him again. I have a weird calm that I think, I'll just see him again. I'll see him again. Like it's not goodbye forever. I kind of have that. I don't.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I didn't always though.
Okay.
But yeah, I do. Like why not? But at the same time, why not just have that if I can? Why not have that experience if I can? Like why think, oh, it's so dreadful, and when I'm just here for. I also think we're not here for this weird experience we're having now just for nothing. Like we've built this as human beings. Well, I didn't, but other have built this crazy world that we live in. I don't know. I would be a little upset if I go on to nothing.
You're like, yeah.
I know I can't bring anything with me though, which I also kind of like. I don't want to bring anything with me.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'd like to pack light, you know?
Well, before I ask you my question, what is the one thing you would like answered?
Yeah, when I asked you that, I was like, I wish I was going to ask you that because I don't know.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, I asked you as if I had an answer. I would just like to know if there is a God, but I guess if he's asking me that, that's God asking me it. I'm guessing, unless it's someone else asking me it. Yeah. I just want to know if there is some kind of divine being. Because I've also had good experiences spiritually with that, where I think there's 100% a good spiritual, godly figure out there. But again, there's also a calm just thinking that there is, you know? So I don't know if there's not one question out there that I think I really need answered.
That's good.
But I would just like to know if there's some kind of God or some kind of divine being up there.
Yeah, I think that would be, I mean, imagine seeing that for the first time, like seeing that higher power. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Would I believe it's a ghost? I'd be like, don't follow me. Don't stand in the doorway.
Well, yeah, would you?
I'd have to set my boundary with God. Hey.
Wait, what would you do if you were a ghost? Like, how would you haunt people? What would be your go-to?
My go-to haunting? I'd think about it two ways. I would try to be like, my first thought was I try to be there for somebody. I like to have a cup of coffee with the same person every day. That's a little lonely. I'm being serious. Like, just be like, if someone's like a little lonely, I'd be like, all right, you know, I'll have a cup of coffee with you, and then I'll go on, and I'll try not to spook them, but I'll just be there with them. You know, I don't know if I'm really having conversations with them. So I think it'd be nice though if like an elderly person, you know, they pass one, I'll have that coffee. I don't know, because
really nice.
My maybe first thought was like play tricks. They'll hide their keys every so often. Yeah. Like I think that's what some people would do. I don't think I'd be a scary one.
Yeah. No, my first thought was like the lights. Like I would totally mess with the lights. I think a friend of mine actually, we believe that he doesn't. when I said when I was like 222, it has to do with him.
Oh, you could turn the coffee maker on for him. You know, you could be a helpful ghost.
A helpful ghost, exactly. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh,
Yeah, why does it always have to be like fuck with people?
Yeah.
I can't be like, you didn't set your alarm clock. I got you. You know,
You know what? I think that I had a ghost that was that used to, when I would come home late from rehearsals, would turn my light on. I'm afraid of the dark, and so I feel like I had, so that's kind of a
maybe they were too.
thing. Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I think that we didn't talk about poltergeists.
Well, we're still on residual. This is
No, we got to shadow people.
Oh, we did? Oh, wait. So residual is just noises in the walls. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then we got to shadow people, your experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, but poltergeists, we haven't gotten to yet.
All right.
That's the definition that I think is important.
I think so too. Yeah.
So this one, poltergeist, is the one that is very commonly depicted in any kind of ghost movie that you see.
Yeah, The Conjuring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could get into some crazy stuff about The Conjuring, about like Ed and Lorraine Warren. Oh my God, you know what? Hold on, let's hold that, because there's a lot to talk about with Ed and Lorraine Warren's house that was just sold.
Oh, to Pete Davidson or something? Or to Matt Rife. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Anyway, we're going to get back there. So poltergeist is commonly known as spirits that move objects or manifest in a horde of bugs or flies or whatever.
So they're physical
bad smells. Yes. Yeah. All right. Bad smells, horrible sounds, so on and so forth. Scratches. Yeah. But and they are seen as negative entities.
Is there a positive one?
I'm sure,
like
but
Casper?
Maybe. Oh, well, I would call that like an interactive spirit.
Oh.
I think that these things, I mean, I don't know. It's like they're commonly things that are painful or annoying, like, you know, like scratches on the body, or like the way that objects are being thrown, they're being thrown across the room, or like they are aggressive physical acts of violence or disturbance within a space.
Would they be more demons?
Well, I guess it's just how you define it. I'm hesitant with the word demon, but yeah, I think, just a negative.
Like,
negative energy.
If it's, is there ever, poltergeist means negative to me, right? Because isn't there ever like a happy one where it's not just scratching you, but it's kind of...
I don't know. I guess not. I guess, yeah.
Have you had an experience with the poltergeist?
Yes, actually. What? I think so.
Are you serious?
Yes. Well,
that's
like poltergeist activity. It's actually kind of funny. So, well, I guess it's not funny, but so at the apartment that I lived in Philly, you know, again, it was a few blocks away from the Eastern State Penitentiary. We were actually getting an abnormal amount of flies in the apartment. And now I'd been there for 3 years. We're clean girls. Like, you know, we're like, where are these flies coming from? And the weirdest part was that these flies would congregate on my one roommate's door, just on her door. And it would be like 15 to 20 flies at once. Like, that's repulsive. That's disgusting. So anyway, 15 to 20 flies at once. We didn't know where they were coming from. We were doing all the things. Like, they're like, clean out your drains, clean out this, like put lemon down your drain, do this. We're doing all the things. Nothing's working.
Didn't tell you anything about poltergeist?
Well, so it wasn't until one day, after we're having weeks of this fly issue, my roommate, you know, we're on the phone and she goes, you know, Em, she's like, the weirdest thing is happening. I've been coming home from work and she had a decorative E that would be on her door. She's like, the E on my door is across the room when I get home. I was like, I'm sorry.
That sucks.
Yeah. I was like, hang on a second. I was like, you've got hordes of flies on the door and now you've got the E being flown across the room and it's only your door. And then we were seeing that man in the apartment. So I was like, okay, that's it. I was like, and that was the same roommate that doesn't really believe in stuff. So on a day that she wasn't there, I decided I'm bringing in my sage stuff. I opened up those windows and I saged the crap out of this apartment. The the other funny part too is that the next day we did have an exterminator come. So I guess we'll never know if it was the work of the exterminator
Like
or
Ghostbusters?
me. No, like a real bug exterminator.
Oh.
But the flies never came back and nothing ever got thrown across the floor again.
See, this is where the show would go. Yeah, you just had an infestation and, you know, it had nothing to do with that. And maybe there's something going on. Like,
exactly. But if I told you that the exterminator never came in, then maybe you'd believe me. Like, who knows, you know, which one. It's like, to me, I'm like, I don't know. Flies were not carrying the E across the floor.
You don't know that. You know?
like magic carpet. I write it all underneath the E, like drop it. Right. We don't know that. So who knows? But I do think that in terms of textbook definition, those are some poltergeist stuff. That's some poltergeisty stuff.
All right, the Eastern State Penitentiary. Why do you believe that spirits are coming from places like that? I have a theory, but why do you think? Why? Well, like is insane asylums?
Well, people, you know, you have your own theory, and I guess it might be similar to what I'm going to say. I mean, people believe that, you know, sad, negative, heavy, traumatic energy is just more powerful than, you know, than like someone who lived happily and then passed on and now they have no reason to come back and like haunt a space or stay in a space. It kind of almost makes me feel like that energy was like sticky. Like if I were to like explain.
Sticky how? This is kind of my theory. I think it's attachments. So have you seen that movie Nefarious? Mm-mm. Okay, that's a cool one.
You need to send me the whole list of all the things.
Nefarious is about a guy who's in jail, and there's in the beginning of the movie, it's not giving anything away. A psychiatrist jumps out of a whatever story building, kills himself.
Oh. And
now a new psychiatrist has to come in and talk to this man who's on death row to see if he's insane. See if he's insane or if he has a demon inside of him. So the whole movie is just these two men talking in a room. And
the whole movie,
and you think like this can't be a movie. It is. So the one guy though that is in jail, who's on death row, is you don't know who's actually talking, if it is the thing possessing him or if it's the normal human being that's being possessed. So you're watching it, and the psychiatrist doesn't believe in any of this stuff, but the last psychiatrist just killed himself. And so you're sitting through it. Now that's where I think attachments are real.
But attachments to what? So we talked about earlier. So like the
demonic possession.
Yeah, but like the Eastern State Penitentiary, for example.
Yeah, I think some of those people were kind of being a little bit. They had an attachment on them, and some of those actions weren't always their actions.
But how about now? So like now, here I am. Like my apartment's like 4 blocks away. How is that spirit kind of?
He's looking for a new home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not that crazy, right?
No, it's not that crazy.
Have you, I mean, that's where sometimes when you exorcise a demon out of you, that they don't just go back to hell. They don't go, it's not like they get vacuumed up by the exterminator.
Right.
They may have to find a new host. And that's why you said you told the thing not to come upstairs with you. Like, maybe it's looking for a different host. They follow you, and I think they're patient. And I think have you ever gone into like the certain demons that have been ruling this world? There's the Bible does talk about them. There's certain ones, there's like kings of them. There's soldiers, whatnot, that follow around, and they have been possessed. Oh, they talk about it in Nefarious. He's just one that's, I think, like 13,000 years old. He's one that just possesses person to person. And he even says it in the movie where he says, when you kill him, when you kill me on death row, I'll just find the next one. Like, this is fun for me. I have all the time in the world.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, this might be what I watched tonight. This is freaky.
Oh, Nefarious. It's a very good movie, though. It's really well done.
Oh, no, it sounds really good.
Where I think some people in jail, and you think they're just insane or whatnot, and you know they're hearing voices and all that. I think they're just somewhat possibly possessed. I don't know. I think there's mental illness for sure as well, but I don't know.
Well, it's really interesting that you bring this up because throughout paranormal history, like with the conversation of possession, for example, like, you know, one of my favorite podcasts is And That's Why We Drink. And they talk about, like some of the episodes, they talk about possessions throughout history. And then they'll then kind of be like, I don't know, this person kind of sounds like they had epilepsy, or sounds like they had this or they had that. And so I think that there really is this interesting like balancing act between, like you said, mental illness or spiritual intervention. And which one is it? Like I find schizophrenia to be extremely interesting. And I have no, like the medical background, I know nothing about.
Well, I think there's a light possession and a heavy possession, right? So I think there's a light one where you ever just make those decisions and you're like, why the fuck why do I keep doing this, or why did I do that? And I'm not saying that like I'm possessed at times, or I don't know what to think. But I also think if those people in those asylums or at Eastern State Penitentiary, for example, or Alcatraz or whatever it is, that some of those spirits are still kind of looking for the next host. That's why I'm afraid to go into them.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, like I don't really want, especially if I've had these weird experiences already. Yeah. Like I think the one following me around for a while was kind of attached and just kind of trying to inch its way in. And that's what they'll do. They'll inch their way in slowly. And all of a sudden I'm using drugs again, right? And it's like, and now they have kind of way more control than I ever wanted them to have.
Have you ever studied the Rwandan genocide?
I saw the movie.
Okay, so there's I haven't seen the movie, but I watched a documentary on it. In high school, I took a genocide awareness class, and we talked about the Rwandan genocide. And what was really interesting is watching interviews of people who were killing other people at that time. They talk
like
about
the young kids and all that.
Well, it was. Wait, sorry, ask that again.
Like the young children killing each other?
Yeah, I mean anyone. Like specifically, the interview that I'm thinking about was an adult man, and he was talking about that was such an intimate genocide because they were using machetes, and they were just wasn't it like a civil war pretty much? It was like neighbor against
IGF or something like that.
Okay,
it was it was what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with an R. Like a resistance group fighting against a.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. No. Well,
some of these people, there are interviews where some of these people talk about, they're like, I don't know why I did it. Like, I don't know. I don't have, they're like, I don't even really know why I killed this person. Or they describe feeling like they were possessed by some entity or some attachment, and that they feel like it took over their moral compass, and that it took over all these things. Like when they step back, they kind of have this like weird consciousness where they're like, why did I just do that? What, like they don't. And that always stuck with me, just watching those interviews of those people, with what you're saying too. This like, I mean, we could, go into like the collective consciousness or an attachment or possession. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of interviews from this time period, from this genocide, where people just say like, I don't know why I did it. I feel like I was possessed and I had no control over my.
That's where like Marilyn Edwards used to talk about this, where she'd say there's just a battle of light and dark going on in the world at the time. And she wouldn't really say, this was my theory on it, that there is this spiritual battle between light and dark going on, and yet they come into us and we can be used as a vessel possibly, for good and bad. Right. So maybe those people are kind of just a tool. Like, what are we anyway? Right.
Yeah.
So
no, it's so interesting to look at the bigger picture and to look at it, from what she's talking about, like this whole backed up perspective, and then looking at the entire like concept behind all of it. It's so fascinating. And then to go into the individual person, and each person has their own individual choices that they're making on a day-to-day basis. And like you said, it's like,
might not even be their choices.
Right. And if you believe that you're being guided by spirit guides, then there's also like, there's the yin and the yang, like there's the other side to it too. I
feel like I'm choosing. Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, I have to be aware of the decisions I'm making in my day to day all the time. Mm-hmm. And I forget, right? I'm not great at it all the time, but there's other decisions I have to. It's weird. I don't know why I want to think about this, but it helps me out because in certain decision making that I make during the day, because it could be if I just cross the 7 deadly sins right in a row and I go, am I doing one of these? Who's guiding me? Because I'm telling you, like I said, I'm sober, so I sit in the rooms of AA every day, and there's people I watch come in, or if you sit in any kind of treatment center, like you watch people come in and you can feel like a little darkness about them. You're like, ooh, what is that?
Yeah.
And then you watch them kind of get sober, and if they go through the proper steps that we are instructed to go through, you kind of see that leave a little bit. Mm-hmm. And as if they've given away that attachment, but
yeah,
it's always still kind of there. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, you can definitely, a friend of mine was just saying that, we at the place that we work at, she was talking about, someone that came into the shop, and she was like, I don't know what it is, because I don't think it's the person. Like, I don't think it's that person's personality, but she's like, I feel like I don't want to say the word, maybe a darkness or like a heaviness, or the word dirty sounds like not like naughty. That's not what I mean, but like a dirtiness, like malevolent, internally.
There's
like
people
malevolent, but just like, like clogged up. I don't know.
There's people that I can think of. I'm not going to say they are or anything, but where I just get that feeling, I don't fucking like you. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, mm-hmm. but okay. There's one person who my friend was hanging out with, and I used to say to him, I don't dislike her. Mm-hmm. I just don't dislike because she was in active addiction at the time. Mm-hmm. So I'd say, she's probably a very good person. I can tell she's, I've seen signs of it, but there's just something, I don't like whatever she is. Mm. So I don't, and I would say that to him all the time. So I'd say when I'm talking about her, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about whatever she is. Mm. And if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can sense that, and especially you being like, I do think you have a sixth sense, and you can sense that on people. I've had, funny enough, I do not have a good radar. I'm very trusting of people, and I would like to think, even though I'm like a sensitive person, I'm a very, very giving, like, I don't mean like give, but like, I'm just a very open, and I assume the best of people. So unfortunately, I do not have a great radar in that sense, but the one type of person that I struggle with is, I tend to gravitate towards, or pick up on chaotic energies more so than,
like calming.
Like there's a certain type of energy that sometimes I can, it's hard to, it's like the type of person where they will bring you in, and they will, like, their energy is almost like addicting, because when you're with them, they're like so excited to be with you, and they're like, and you can feel it. You can feel that their energy is really high, and you can feel like, like, oh, like, let's do this activity and that activity and this and this and this and this. And I think I gravitate towards that because, like you had mentioned when you met me, you're like, oh, you don't even need, caffeine. And that's correct. I get very excited about things, and I definitely have undiagnosed ADHD, so like you can see that. But so it's this type of personality that will draw you in, and then they will like smush you the second that you upset them in some manner. That type of energy I've gotten good at picking up on, because unfortunately I have encountered it a lot. And and have had to put up major boundaries. And I don't think that those people are necessarily bad people. I just think that they are, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just a personality type that I am like, okay, nope. So the second I kind of...
See, that was weird for me because that's like a learned behavior that some people have, that they can, they can draw you in, but they immediately will push you away at a certain time or whatever it is, or just that's like getting into like trauma and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Because that's, I don't think they're all. That's what I know exactly what you're talking about, and yeah, that's a. I don't know if that has to do with spirits. I think that's more of a learned. That's like nature versus nurture.
You are right. Something actually that you just reminded me. One time a friend of mine asked me, she said, do you think that practicing religion is natural or is it a trauma response?
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both too.
I think it's there's something that we were born with, that we have this this urge to find meaning in something outside of ourselves. 100%. I think, because I've gone up and down with it throughout my life, but I've watched other people get baptized later in life or attract to sacraments or find religion, because I think there is this internal something in us, if it's our soul or whatever it is, that we're man search for meaning for sure, and it's there. But I also think it's a trauma response because we're searching for something again. And it's so, I think it's a good trauma. I think it's probably the best trauma response is to find the light, whether it is, because we also have a trauma response to find, for my case, like a substance, because it gives me what I want. It gives me something outside of myself.
Right.
Even though it's very selfish. So I think it's both. I think, and if you look at the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, it is a spiritual based program, and what we truly say is, I think it's like page 67 of our book, is our problem is not alcohol or drugs. Our problem is a spiritual malady, meaning a spiritual sickness. So if you really break down Alcoholics Anonymous, we don't have an issue with drugs and alcohol. It's our solution. Our problem is that we have a spiritual sickness, and we are looking for something to cure that. And you can go back into like alcohol as a spirit, right? So that's why the first three steps are, well, really the two and three are, they do that right away. It's, you have to come to believe in a power greater than yourself. And the third one is you have to make a decision and turn your life over to that. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like, people think of it as an alcohol-based program. It's a spiritual-based program, which is awesome.
So interesting. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I never knew that. And yeah, I think this idea of one of my favorite quotes. I made my boyfriend watch all of the Hunger Games, mostly because of this quote.
I rewatched them like 3 weeks ago because I watched a song of, or a ballad of Song and Snakes, or something in Snakes. What is it? Bird?
Yeah, the song. Birds, snakes, songs,
singing snakes. Yeah. All right. So what's your favorite quote? Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. My favorite quote is, "The only thing greater than fear is hope." Or the only thing more powerful than fear is hope. And I love that. I think that is definitely my favorite. Yeah, my favorite quote, and I use it often.
I like that because, like I said, I feel like I'm being selfish talking about this, but bringing it back to, there was so much of my life that I'd go back into active addiction and I would struggle and whatnot, but I would always, this kid asked me one day, he goes, why do you wake, like we were in a treatment center or something. He's like, why do you wake up like still going through your routines and doing it? He's like, dude, we're back in this place. This sucks. And I'm like, cause I'll never lose hope, cause I know it'll get better.
Yes.
I know. And this is like the 5th time I've fucking been here, but it'll be better. And I was making breakfast for everybody. I was just like, dude, it will. I don't know what it is, when it's going to happen, but I'll figure it out.
And you sharing that changed him. And even...
Oh, he said it. He came to me later that day and was like, all right. I think he's sober to this day. I communicated with him on like Facebook Messenger a couple of months ago, and I know he's a girlfriend now and he's still sober. But I agree that the only thing greater than fear is hope, 100%. And that's where I think the light is always more powerful than the darkness.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. No, it's so important. And also, no, you can share as much of this as you want. You're not being selfish. I think it's incredible. But I think that's also what drives me with the work that I do within the, the paranormal realm, is because I really do hope that there is more. And I think every time I get to have an encounter,
more of what?
Like, an afterlife or just, another realm.
So you're searching for meaning.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think, yeah, I mean.
So do you think that's, if you were to break it down, do you think that's really what you're searching for, is the afterlife? Do you think these spirits are going to give you an answer?
I hope not. No, no. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, oh God.
Oh, that's funny.
Maybe, I guess.
What are you searching for when you go looking for these guys or
it's
girls?
It's really I feel I guess, wow, it really, whoa. I'm being shot back to my childhood right now.
Good. What's this telling you?
I told you how my dad raised us as atheists when we were
sure, kids. Yeah.
My dad, there were certain ideologies that he taught us, and one being that don't believe in anything that you can't see.
Really?
Yeah. And Oof. he would say A is A. That was something he would always say. He would drill into our head, and then he would say, yeah, don't believe in anything you can't see, and don't trust anything without proof. And that was, it made having any kind of spiritual belief really difficult, of course, but it also led to the only reason that I do believe in an afterlife, and it's because I started seeing ghosts. And so I could literally, saw them in my parents' house or had experiences, and I was like, well, I'm having these, so there must be something. But when I think back to that foundation, I just feel really thankful every time that I encounter something like this, because I feel thankful that that it is real, that it is there, and it is waiting for me, and that my people are there. So,
but they're on that plane. The ones you're experiencing are on this plane,
mm-hmm.
right? Mm-hmm. The ones you want to see are maybe on a different plane.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Are they on a different plane, or are they up in the playground of heaven?
No, I think, there's a medium that I follow on TikTok, and she's like, it's right here. They're right here.
Well, that's the whole thing of, I don't think we've even been talking that long, by the way. That's the whole, that when we pass on, that heaven really isn't, up in the sky somewhere. It's still here.
Right.
But then I don't know how to explain that one, because what are they doing? Just hanging out in this world, watching it be built up from what it was to what it is now.
Yeah, but I think they're busy. They're busy, but sometimes you can call upon them, or they are watching.
You think they have hobbies and stuff?
Well,
I think that's what they mean by busy.
I don't know. They must have something to do.
What's Charlie's hobby? Runner to walls.
Charlie is here.
Well, he's looking for Annie.
Charlie's looking for Annie.
That's his hobby.
Hanging out in the bar. He
has had one hobby.
And
it's Annie, dude. He's like, God, dude.
Yeah.
God, dude, Charlie.
Oh God, poor Annie.
God, he's just an eternity of looking for Annie.
God, he's like, I can't wait for her to get over.
Oh, dude.
Oh my God.
Does she still work there?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's got to be nice for Annie to be right there. Who do you think his hobby was before Annie, though? Maybe his hobby is just women.
I think he's been there. Women. I think he's been there since the 1950s. So.
Oh.
He's been there a while.
That's not that long.
No, it's not.
There's older ghosts.
Yeah.
How do they do age?
I don't know. I think they.
It's not even real anyway, right?
Yeah, I don't. Some people say that, your past loved one will appear as you remember them, or the way that they felt the best. Their favorite age, But then I feel like in Charlie's instance, I kind of feel like he might be a little bit I don't want to say stuck. That's sad. But like maybe he might be stuck at 35 when he died. And now he's just hanging out as a 35-year-old, like looking for the ladies.
Oh, for Annie, for sure. But okay, so talking about that, this medium came in, if I remember the story correctly, this is where Colleen had an experience. She went up to the third floor. I could be telling this wrong, but went up to the third floor and she said she opened up a portal that some could go into the light. And if others wanted to stay, they could stay, because you mentioned the word stuck. And some went to the light and some stayed. Right? So, yeah, maybe he is stuck, I guess. Would you ever consider bringing like a medium in there and be like,
yep,
maybe Charlie needs to pass on?
Yeah, I mean, we just brought a medium onto our team. Her name is Amanda, and she's really cool. She just joined our team and has gone on, I believe, one investigation with our team. It was really cool to watch her move around a space, because we always say, we're like, we hate to use you as like a tool. We don't want to like call you a tool. But she kind of like operated similar to the equipment that we had in the room. Like we would bring the equipment into a space, and then we'd get all this information, and then like we'd come out, we wouldn't tell her anything that we found. She'd go in there and she'd come out with the same information. We were like, this is crazy. Like she's like, yeah, she's just like a walking voice box. Yeah. But I think she would be capable of doing something like that if she came into the speakeasy.
Where are they going to, though? What light are they going to?
I guess that's the big question.
What if you're a medium stuck in that, getting stuck, you know? Like a stuck medium. Like after you pass away.
Oh.
Yeah.
At the gates of heaven.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I did all this work. Like, this is,
what am I now?
Yeah, oh my God. Oh, yeah. Oh, if you're like a medium and then you end up haunting a place.
Yeah. I've never heard of a haunting medium. Yeah. What are you then?
So
like,
ironic.
If you're not a medium, you're like a middle.
Yeah. Or, I always say I'm a medium. I always say that because I'm not very good at it.
A bedarge, like a large, big, I don't know. Like.
Bedarge.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm a medium. I'm not very good at it, but I have like weird experiences every now and then. One time, this is actually very funny. One time, so I was crying at work this one time. I don't remember why, so don't ask, but I was crying at work. And I come back from outside and I come in. There's a guy standing at the bar. And he looks at me and I look at him and I went, oh my God, did you just get married? And he looked at me and was like, he's like, no. But he's like, I just proposed to my girlfriend yesterday. And I was like, and he was like, hi, I'm Danny. Like, we had never introduced ourselves to each other before. Like, we did not know each other. I just, like, I guess I was in an emotional state. I walked in. It's like someone knocked me in the knees. I said it. And like, yeah, we've been friends since. But I was like, yeah, so we're still friends. But I was like, I'm so sorry. That was my medium showing really quick. My bad. And I had to, but we're still friends. Thankfully, he was okay with it.
You think that's what it being a medium, that like having, well, that's where I have to start to believe in that there's something going on that you can just have that kind of experience. Like that's not happenstance.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Well,
other than her name was Marilyn. Other than her, have you seen a medium before?
No.
So the other day, I was having a medium.
You're having Do you think that's what they call them?
Sorry, I was having a meeting with Amanda. Jeez. So we're meeting with Amanda.
Can she come on here?
Yes. Well, okay, I don't want to speak for her.
Okay.
Like, yes. But like,
can I have a medium with her? Can I?
You can have a medium with our medium.
Okay.
She's like this is her superpower. Like, she's incredible. So her and I were having a meeting because she's going to come into my studio this fall and do like group medium work. So we're going to allow like 10 to 12 people to essentially like purchase a spot to come in, and she's going to give everyone a reading in that session. but it's not as like long as like an individual session. But her and I are having this meeting. Also, when I met with her, and I try not to like, be that girl that's like, do you see anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to be disrespectful to their superpower. So I was reining it in. And as we're talking business, she's like, I'm sorry, I have to stop you. I'm like, all right. Yeah. She's like, do you have a grandma and an aunt that passed away? And I was like, yeah. She's like, they have their hands on your head, and they're both like, indicating that they protect you every day. And I was like, oh yeah, it's solid. Like I feel so protected that I need to like watch it sometimes, because like I need to be
that protection.
Oh, every day. I'm like thanking my angels. I feel like I talked to them all day. But then later on, as we're talking, she goes, I have to stop you again. She's like, did you have a grandfather? She said, so no. She said, do you have a great grandfather that was a war veteran? I see him in front of me. He has a great smile. He's saying like 1940s. And I see smoke in front of me, which typically means either he was a smoker or it's like warfare. And, she's like, he's telling me, tell her, she's pointing at me. She's like, tell her it's Italian and German. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably my grandmother's father, because we just found out that his last name was Frank and not Brennan. We just found out that he's German. So we were having this like identity crisis, because like my whole life I did not think I was German. We have the Irish Brennan clan like emblems all over our house. Like we're very proud of our Irish heritage. Now come to find out, like, you may not be a Brennan. I think we are. We're getting very confused with anyway, regardless. We just found out he's going, it's Italian and German. So I text my family and I asked if he was a war veteran. My dad said, I don't know the details, but the flag that we have is from his time in the service. And then my dad ended up sending me we have like a whole document of information on our family. Turns out, yes, Frank Brennan, he served in World War I, and he then registered for World War II in 1942. And he was a mechanic. And as we were in this meeting, she was also saying, she's like, I hear like a hanger. So I told her about it. She's like, oh, yeah. She was like, it makes sense that he was a mechanic. So
the guy who does our beer lines, his name is Frank Brennan. Yeah.
Oh God, that's crazy.
I'm afraid to meet with him again. I
understand that too. Yeah.
Because I do believe there's could possibly be dark attachment. Now there's the point that I say, well, maybe I should meet with them so I can exercise the hell out of here, right? Now I got to be careful who I meet with, because I want to make sure they have good intentions.
I think, yeah, you have to be careful who you meet with too. Yeah, because I'm very weird about payment. Like I understand that this is what some people do, but
I'm not against that.
It's not that I'm against payment, but it's like, again, you question like, how can you validate that this is happening? And so it's not that I'm against it. It's just that I think you're right, that you are right to be careful about who you meet with. And, the only mediums I've ever met with are people that I have been recommended to by very close friends or family. So I just think it's important to do that.
What's the difference between a psychic and a medium then?
A psychic? I'm not entirely sure. Correct? Maybe
I don't know.
I could be corrected, but
similar.
I feel like there's something to be said about people who are reading your fortune, like your future.
Yeah, I don't want to be told about my future.
Me too. I don't like that at all.
There's the group of girls at work that have been meeting with this psychic, and they're telling them stuff, and I don't want to know. That sounds like a dark force to me.
Well, I believe in my parents were really intentional with teaching us about positive visualization and manifestation.
That's why I'm okay. So you saying that shocks me a little bit about now saying the proof is proof, because manifestation and what's the other word you use?
Positive visualization.
That's not tangible.
Correct. But Napoleon Hill says that thoughts are things. And the second we start thinking about it that way, then our life will change. Yeah.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, I read 2 of his books. The one that was banned by the Catholic Church, especially. Oh, man, you ever read I don't think it could be, I think it actually is written by Napoleon, Interview with the Devil.
Mm-mm. It's banned by the
That was banned in the 1930s. That the Catholic Church wouldn't. Yeah, it was. I think it was banned by the Catholic Church. Interview with the Devil is where I watched Nefarious, and I thought whoever wrote this movie read that book. Outwitting the Devil. That's what it's called. I think.
Say it again.
Outwitting the Devil or Interview with the Devil. And it is so. It truly, when you read this book, it is so good. By the way, because especially the beginning of it. The guy's interviewing the devil. That's what. So I think it's called Outwitting the Devil. But he sits down and the devil says, "You need to call me by like a master or something like that." And he's like, "I'm not going to do that." He goes, "Why? I control 98% of your population." And the guy's like, and he convinces him. He goes, "Okay, I'll call you that." But it's a fantastic book about. It's actually like a self-help kind of book. In a weird way, it turns out to be a self-help book where the devil says, I control you monetarily, I control you materialistically, I control you, through the deadly sins, I control you this and that. And as you're reading it, you're going, shit, I am kind of controlled this way. It's such a good book. But talking about manifestation, I don't know why I just went off on that tangent about what you were talking about.
No, keep going. You know why. Yeah. It relates.
Napoleon Hill.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, read that book. I think it's written by him as well. But Thoughts Are Things. Yeah. Why are you talking about that?
Because we were talking about like tangible things. Don't believe in something until you have proof. So you brought up that ideology.
Oh, I cut you off. We lost that train of thought.
No, we were talking about my dad and how you were like, it surprises me that they talked about positive visualization and manifestation. And you were like, that surprises me because they're not tangible things. But I guess depending on your thought process, then they could be. If thoughts are things, then they could be or are. I mean, I will say, especially with my dad specifically, once he started getting into this work like of manifestation and positive visualization and things like that, he really moved away from the atheism. And
my dad raised us on that. It was your control. You're the creator of your own destiny. What you think and what you believe will come true. The law of attraction type stuff. But he did it also under the rule of God, which was really nice. Yeah,
it is nice. I think it's important to have that.
But if you look at Jesus, especially more the New Testament than the Old Testament, it's 100%. I mean, he talks about it all the time. You ever see the theory of where Jesus went between 13 and 32?
No.
All right, so the Old Testament is, this is one theory. There's other ones, obviously, but I like this one. The Old Testament's a little bit more God-fearing and such, and the New Testament is written in a lot more like Buddhist principles.
Okay.
So there's a thought, one, we know that Jesus most likely went down to Egypt, but there's another theory that he went over to Nepal but that means he would have had to cross like a big mountain range, and some people would say it's not possible, but they did it. He went over between 13 and 32 and came back with these, turn the other cheek mentality, and love thy neighbor and such. So where like the 10 Commandments are a little bit more strict, where he came back with this whole new philosophy that seemed a little bit more Buddhist.
Yeah. And and on this topic, and like when you were talking about how your dad taught you guys this under the umbrella of God, I think it's really interesting because if I look at the breakdown of me and my siblings too, like my brother is very connected to Catholicism specifically. I don't feel connected to a specific, named religion, but I do find comfort in, I think, like crystal work really took off and really became like a mainstream thing, and people kind of like make fun of it. But I think growing up, because I didn't feel connected to the Bible or to going to church or to, I can't even think of the word.
CCD?
No.
Like an organized religion?
Thinking of a rosary. I didn't feel connected to these objects, but I was able to connect to rocks or to the earth, because it was like there in front of me, and it didn't have all of this other
man-written code behind it.
Yes. I And so I don't think that I'm any less, like my brother would say that he's the most spiritual of the group, but I don't think that I'm any less spiritual or that someone who has that connection is any less. It's just a different lens.
For sure.
And when people talk about, like I had an ex-boyfriend. He was fine. He was great. If he ever watches this, he was fine because it was great. It was lovely. But he told me one time, he's like, everything that you're talking about is like witchcraft, right? And it's like not, and I was like,
the earthly stuff.
I don't remember what I was saying. I think he was talking about like ghosts and things like that. And I was probably talking about crystal work. I was talking about, I don't know what it was, but, and, he was like, oh yeah, like this is like known as, witchcraft and it's not good.
Yeah, some Wiccan.
I was like, okay, well, so now it's like, we're just like, okay. I don't really know why he was bringing it up, but it made me feel like he was it felt like a warning, honestly. It felt like a warning, like, this is not good. Like, you should not be talking about this kind of stuff. And it's, it's negative or evil in his eyes. But I don't think it's, anyway, now I'm sort of going off on a tangent, but I'm going off on a tangent.
Yeah, no, but there is, that's a whole other thing talking about, because I could talk about that a lot too, where I think there is this darkness behind witchcraft and being a Wiccan and things like that. People see, but there's also people who see light in it.
Right. There's so much darkness in every, like there's shadow work in every.
But witchcraft has been around for a very long time, and it's in like every culture. And I think there is a darkness. It's whatever force you're channeling. It's in yoga. Okay.
Yeah. I want a shirt that says
yoga's witchcraft.
Yeah. Or like witches do yoga or something like that. Yeah.
I was a heavy yogi for like 4 years. I did like 4 days a week religiously. I don't know if I should put that word next to it, but I'm not against it. But I could go into that a little bit, where when I was in the spiritual practice and then I started worshiping more of like the yoga and the Buddhist approach and whatnot, I didn't kind of really love the way I felt. Like,
you didn't?
As clean. Yeah. Like all of a sudden I felt like I was getting away from this light and I was kind of going towards these rituals all of a sudden. But there's, have you ever seen the Catholics Against Yoga?
No.
Oh yeah. Because you're doing these positions and you don't, so you may see it as a flow or as a, from downward dog to goddess pose to anything like that, that you're channeling. These positions are actually channeling positions.
And I can totally see
and I'm not saying I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
But there is a big movement, and it's larger than I thought. That's Catholics Against Yoga, where you're channeling dark, and their thing is you don't even know you're doing it. These instructors are teaching you into, the five finger pose and whatnot, where you're in star pose, goddess pose, that you're actually channeling up to something that's not good.
Not that this is
crazy.
No, it's not that crazy. This isn't entirely the same, but I will tie it back, and I think you'll appreciate this story. During the pandemic, I got really interested in human levitation.
Nice.
I was like,
did you do it?
I have not yet levitated,
okay, cool.
But I am determined. So I literally bought a how to levitate book.
Yeah.
And in the back, and I actually have a crazy story about this, but in the back of it, well, actually throughout, there is literally a chapter where they're like, there's breath work that is associated with, it will allow you to levitate, or there are different, I think it's mostly breath work, but it is coming out of Eastern philosophies, mostly. This type of breath work and or movement or what have you, and it's really fascinating. But there's also the story that I have on this too is that there's a chapter about children experiencing levitating in childhood, and it'll be something like they're at the top of the stairs and they picked up their feet and they did not launch themselves down a staircase. Like they didn't jump. They just floated down the stairs and landed at the bottom, or they did it across their bedroom, or they did something like that. So, in my free time during the pandemic, I was reading about this and I really didn't tell anyone. It's just that I saw a bunch of videos. I also had a friend of mine who was like, oh yeah, I have a friend that can like move things with their mind. And I was like asking her all these questions and she's like, I don't know. And I was like, you did not ask enough questions. Like, did you ask to see this talent? Anyway, so I was like, am I missing something? Can people levitate or can things float? I would like to try it. So that's why I bought this book. I'm doing it on my own. And then a few weeks later, I am teaching. I taught at the Philadelphia Dance Academy for a few years. So I'm teaching one day. And I started, I was making my students laugh because one of them, they jumped up and they like threw their rib cage out. And so I was mimicking them and I said, stop jumping like bananas. And I was just making them laugh. And then my one student says, Miss Emma, one time I did that in my bedroom and I floated across the bedroom.
The fuck?
And I was thinking, I started smiling because I was like, if they said this to any other teacher,
yeah,
like no one would believe them. I looked at her and I was like, oh, so do you feel like you floated? And she's like, yeah, I feel like I floated across the room. And I said, did it ever happen again? She said, no. And then another one of my students looked at me and she said, Miss Emma, is that possible? And I was like, well, it's never happened to me, but I can't say it's not possible.
That's probably the best answer.
Yeah. And so for the next 10 minutes, we tried doing it. We would start on one end of the studio and we were like launching ourselves across the studio.
Free says,
and breathe like this. Yeah. So we're like throwing ourselves across the floor. I said to him, I was like, please do not do this. Do not do this at home. Like, do not jump out a window. But apparently, so in that book, it talks about Winston Churchill.
Shit.
He believed that he could fly when he was a kid, and so he like I'm pretty sure he like jumped out of a window.
So did Peter Pan. What are you saying?
But our Winston Churchill.
Well, don't anyone through history who's flying around?
No, but I do believe that we will see it in our lifetime. I think we'll be able to see. I think we'll encounter superheroes.
Is that witchcraft? Are they flying on a broom?
No. I just think we'll encounter. I think like we'll be able to. Like, I think, like, we must have cracked the code. Like, if we can get a plane up in the air, we can get a person up in the air. I just don't know why we haven't.
I just don't know why we haven't. What's going on?
Like, just gotta move on. I don't know why this is happening yet.
God, no one's figured this out,
yeah,
dude.
like, we have jetpacks.
There's that one thing we're missing. Like,
yeah, like,
oh, that's all we've had to do.
Why are we wasting our time with cars and, like, using oil and use it, like, come on.
Maybe it's like the iron in our body and the magnetic field of the earth is all we have to do is just like
I think so.
Breathe a certain way and then we can just channel it all and we can float.
Yes,
like the Magneto.
You don't have to be from breathing, but like there has to be a technology. Actually, fun fact, my science fair project was a pair of wings big enough for a person.
So you've always wanted to fly.
I've always wanted.
Oh, so you've been on this for a while.
Yeah,
so you just haven't cracked the code yet.
Well,
so this is going to happen in your lifetime?
No, like what are their names? Where Jeff Bezos, like, come on, he can get us up in the air. Or Elon Musk, he could get us up in the air. For sure. They got us to space.
Us?
Yeah.
Or them?
Well, right. I think that they are hiding it from the normal.
But I haven't seen anybody levitating. Like I've watched some videos, I guess.
Cars can.
Oh, the cars have been levitating. Yeah, but that's, I think, what? Wait, what?
You're like, wait a second. Yeah, don't they have floating cars now? I mean, like,
I know there's the magnetic tracks that they have, the tunnels that they're built, that they could possibly be building, like, I know Elon Musk has a thing that he wants to build a tunnel underneath of LA, and that's going to be put on a magnetic track. Oh. So how it runs is it's literally not going to be touching the track. It's just boom, goes across magnet to magnet.
Yes,
and it goes across. So maybe magnets.
I feel like that makes so much sense. I mean, again, for people, we don't have to be levitating.
Well, that's aliens. Like maybe it's they're on because they have that the aliens have that certain technology that it's this small,
right?
And no, but it's whatever that gravitational, like they're moving off of. It's out there.
It's out there. Like we can fly. I think that they're
Just
just keeping it
channel it?
from us. No, I think they're keeping this technology from us, and they don't
Yeah,
want
but we don't even see them doing it. Like
Well, you're
some of the
right, you're
technology that we have out there,
That's true.
well, they're keeping it from us. Like the spacecrafts, like the cigar-shaped Tic Tacs that we see. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they have it, and that's not really an alien. Because I don't think aliens. Well, I don't know if aliens are really as tangible as the movies make them out to be, or they're if they're interdimensional. But
Yes.
who knows? I haven't met one. Wish I
Maybe
would.
you have.
So maybe. Yeah. No, I agree. And he just didn't tell me he was an alien. Okay. So now we're way off of.
Hold on, wait. I'm going to bring it back.
All right.
With this one topic. Have you ever heard of black-eyed children?
Yes.
Those to me are the scariest things in paranormal.
I hope I never meet one of them.
Me too. I'm so glad you say this because
Like, yeah, it's the dark side.
oh my God, they're so freaking scary. But some people believe that they're
Like, I know the ones in Scotland. Like, I know one story of Scotland where they just show up at your, like, the side of your car. And they're black-eyed children. What, do you have an experience with black-eyed children?
No, thank God, no. One time, I thought maybe, not like a real one, but I heard about the concept, freaked me the heck out. And one day I was at Eatery or Daddy Tom's, like we were talking about earlier, and was closing the restaurant with my friend who's a bartender. And it's like 11 o'clock at night. And I look outside, and there are these kids who are playing with a ball on Mill Street. And, again, it's 11 o'clock at night. There are no adults around. And it was probably just kids. But I told my friend, I was like, they remind me of black-eyed kids because it just felt a little off. It just felt like, what are you doing out at this time at night? Mill Street is not really a residential street.
No, yeah, I know.
So it's just a weird place to be. And they were really it wasn't like they were passing by. They were just standing there, like passing the ball back and forth, kind of just standing there. And yeah, they definitely weirded me out. So, but I didn't see any black eyes or anything. And I didn't have any. It just reminded me of that, when they say with black-eyed children, there's just something a little bit off about them. Just something like slightly non-human or non-normal about them. That's what I think they think. Have you?
Black-eyed children? No. Thank God.
Yeah, no.
That would terrify me. If I got a weird, dark feeling from a child, like just like standing out in the middle of the street, oh my God.
That's awful.
Oh, if I looked out my window and there's just...
No, I've thought about it. Where like if I have a kid who then...
has black eyes.
No. No, but like
shit.
No, but I already know that if my future child is like and I know I did this shit to my parents, like, because I would get scared in the middle of the night and I would go running into their bed. But if my kid is like standing at the end of my bed, oh my God,
Oh, well, that's one of your boundaries.
it is one of my boundaries.
So-
I mean, I don't want to I don't want to be like inappropriate here, but like one quick, like one quick
keep the kid.
yeah, like boom, right to the chest. Oh my God, like do not do that. That's going to be a rule. The second my kid knows how to run around the house, like, listen, honey, the one rule, you cannot stand, you cannot lurk at the end. Actually, don't lurk anywhere. Don't lurk.
No lurking.
No lurking.
Yeah, no doorways.
No.
If you want to talk to me, you step inside or outside of the room. Like,
Yeah, no lurking. Do not stand and stare anywhere.
yeah. Well, I've never thought of setting up boundaries for my future kids already.
I've thought about this a lot because it's freaky. It's freaky to think about.
Well, the kids are the scariest ones. For
They
sure.
are. They're so scary.
Like adults, you can really start to be like, are they mentally ill? Or they're, yeah.
I mean, kids, you don't know. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you feel like you could fight an adult,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like a kid, you're like, they bite probably, So
Yes.
but
No,
the adults don't bite. The kids bite.
We have Chris has a story about at Naked Brewing in Bristol. When they did an investigation, he has a story about how he like was in one of the closets and he turned around, there was a girl behind him.
Like a young girl?
Yeah.
See, that's what's so scary about when I saw that girl in my kid. And like, what's weird, I have a vivid memory of just cooking out of the corner of my eye. She's standing there and no face. Yeah. Like really no face. And it's just that, like, it was, I just stopped what I was doing. It was fucking terrifying. And that's why I think the woman who crawled up the stairs was an adult version of her, because she looked just like her in that same dress,
Did
same
she have
hair.
a face?
No, never saw her face. Didn't turn so I could see her face.
Oh, that's
Like it was, and I wasn't, and at that time I hadn't done the hard drugs that I ended up doing later on in life. Like I had not, so I don't know.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
No, that's awful. I used to, funny enough, my friends used to be weirded out by me because when I would draw people, I would draw them with no face. But it's because I was such a perfectionist, then I couldn't replicate someone's face. And so I was like, I'm just not even going to try. I was like, it looks better without the face. That was what was happening in my mind. But I was being a little weirdo and drawing people without face.
That's like a horror movie, but yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
You grew up, thank God.
I grew up.
Yeah. Do you draw faces now?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I do. Yeah.
Perfect, you're imperfect. That's good. At least you draw faces.
I do. I yeah.
Because you'd be a weird adult then if...
It'd be very strange if I did that.
I
No.
want to see my artwork, and like, no. I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see
No, I don't want to fucking look at it, dude.
Oh my God. That would be awful. That would be awful. I haven't forgotten. I want us to go back to the conversation about Ed and Lorraine Warren and talk about the house and talk about Matt Rife and
talk about
all
this real quick.
stuff. So Matt Rife just bought Ed and Lorraine Warren's
In
house.
Connecticut or Pennsylvania?
Connecticut,
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. Or Maine. I feel like I should know.
I think it's Connecticut.
I think you're right. He just bought the house. A lot of people are a little up in arms about it.
What do you know?
I don't really know anything, but I have a feeling. I'm going to say it right here on this podcast. I have a feeling that I'm going to meet Matt Rife in life.
That's cool.
Because, I just like have this like intuitive feeling. Because, one, I have a haunted doll of my own that we have at our studio for our tours and stuff that I accidentally bought. And I can tell you about that in a little bit. But I bought her as a joke because I thought it'd be fun. I did not know she was haunted, but she's like a Shirley Temple with red eyes. And I got her for the tours because I thought it'd be fun to have like as a decoration.
Is this the one that's on your Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes. So I got her, and then all this stuff started happening. Anyway, so now I've been putting it on Instagram, and so now my haunted doll is sort of like popping off on TikTok and things like that.
Oh, does she know she's famous?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, she's in the videos. I mean, she probably knows. But anyway, so Matt Rife has now just recently purchased the Warren house along with Annabelle.
Oh, he purchased Annabelle too?
Well, he is the caretaker, technically. I don't think he is I don't think he owns the haunted objects in there because Ed and Lorraine Warren were considered the caretakers. They weren't necessarily the owners.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to own that? Okay.
So I think he's the caretaker.
Why would he do that?
I know. People are like, what's going on? But I think the reason that he did it specifically, because he kind of came out of nowhere and bought this. Like, nobody knew he was interested in the paranormal. Nobody knew all this stuff. He claims that he has been. But, I don't know. I think he just had a lot of money. I think he was able to buy it. I think he saw how much money was in this industry.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But he makes enough.
I guess you.
Unless it fascinates him.
I think it fascinates him to an extent. Like I do genuinely think so. But so the Ed and Lorraine Warren's home, like it was an occult museum that was open until 2019. It was closed down due to zoning issues, and they never reopened it. Now, Matt Rife is opening it back up, which I do think is cool. I think it's cool that somebody is going to, get his own properly and open it back up for the public. But yeah, I do think that probably his primary focus is probably money, along with the bonus. The bonus that he likes it. You don't think so?
No, I think he's drawn to it then. There's some kind of, this is where I think maybe it's an attachment thing.
Maybe, but you talked about money. Is one of the money is.
Yeah, but I think it's you get drawn to it, you get pushed to it, and something I would say spirits are not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I think...
Do you think you're like, Matt Rife was meant to be the owner of this?
This is why. There is a picture in the Continental Tavern of this woman's... There's this woman, okay? And it hung above my parents' bedroom our entire life, okay? And the medium, the mom, when she came in, she did a double take and looked at that photo and said, "This is the woman that haunts the building."
What? No.
Yes. And
where is that photo?
On the second floor in the parlor. And said, "This woman haunts the building, and you've had this picture your entire life." And so that's where I think, like, that, hearing the Matt Rife story brings me to that one where I think maybe the spirit that is part of the tavern pushed my family to buy that restaurant.
Wow.
In a way. And that picture they put in there, no idea that it had anything to do with the spirit of that place, and said, "That's a woman who haunts this building right now." So I think, like, maybe Matt Rife, if, like, it's just a theory, right? Because that's all it is at this moment. Somewhat is being pushed to own that house. What other thing makes you buy that other than you think you're into this type of stuff and you have the money to buy it? I mean, yeah, sure, that could be a thing, but I always think that there's some kind of other force going on. If there is a battle between light and dark constantly moving that we cannot see, to make him buy a place like that.
That's really true, because when I think about, like,
Matt Rife might be dead in 10 years.
Oh God.
Okay, fine.
God protect him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But funny when you say this, like, the paranormal world. I mentioned this to you last week when I saw you, but you know, I grew up as a dancer. I went to school for dance and economics. Like, I have not. I've always been fascinated in the paranormal, but it's always found me accidentally. I always find that, like, it has found me accidentally. Where, like, for example, in like, my TikTok group blew up overnight because unintentionally someone thought they saw a ghost in the background of my video. I'll show you the video afterwards so you can see. But someone thought that they saw a ghost in the background of my video, and I could not replicate that even if I tried. Here I was trying to do.
You see it?
Yes, you can see it. And so,
so you have an attachment.
No, well, I mean, it's not behind me. It's like, I'll show you, but it's and here I am on TikTok doing the dancing stuff, like, during the pandemic, trying to blow up. The second, like, and again, I did not intentionally do that. The video was of something else. And then all of a sudden it opened this whole realm for me. And then I've done 500 million pliés, tendus, grand mamas my entire life, doing ballet, like, blood and sweat and tears of performing and teaching. The second I got into the ghost industry, it changed my life. It truly changed my life. And it was truly just like one day last year when I was standing at work, and I was kind of, you know, on a personal journey where I was like, why am I doing all of these jobs? Like, what is the purpose of all these different jobs? I don't have one clear direction. And then it felt like everything just clicked into place when I brought this idea to Chris and Sherry, and we put together Spirits on Mill, and suddenly it was like all of my past expertise made sense for this one project that, again, has changed my life. And you know, now we're working on our third tour. I'm a professional ghost hunter. We hope to do a podcast at some point. What I would love to do is to travel the country or travel the world, learning people's stories and, you know, finding ways to share them on a larger platform, whether it's a tour or some kind of, or, you know, sharing it on podcasts or something like that. But yeah, I really believe that, to circle it all back. Yeah, I think that Matt Rife and I think we'll cross paths.
Well, I mean, if you go on this adventure, then that you're saying that you're going to go on, then you'll probably cross this path. You'll probably end up filming a podcast with him.
You think?
I mean, I guess you got excited about that.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go on this adventure, I think it's as simple as constantly reaching out to him and just being like, you know.
Well, it's like, because I don't want to try that hard. Like, I feel like it'll happen. I feel like it'll just kind of
do it that way.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if it's meant to be, like you said, if it just calls, like, Yeah, like it just happens. You don't have to
I
try
think
so
so.
hard.
And do it that way.
Yeah. Not that I like, I mean, he's great and all, but just, I kind of mean it as like a joke. He's not really like, he's not somebody that I mean, well, if he ever watches this, I'm sure you're great, but he's not somebody that I've like been like, I need to meet.
He's not a Hollywood crush. Like he's
no.
Well,
I mean, sure. Whatever. I'm sorry. I don't want to insult him if he ever watches this. Like, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
If everybody watches this. I don't want to.
Maybe he'll get a visit to the Ed and Lorraine Warren house then.
Yeah. He'll be like, I'm not your Hollywood crush. Get up here.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Oh, God. No, I'm sure he's really nice.
The best, you know?
I'm digging a deeper hole.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's great, you know?
I'm sure he's fine.
All right, so we should probably wrap this one up.
We should.
Slide up.
I know we should.
And on that, Matt Rife, if you're out there, someone would like to meet you.
God. Oh, God. Sure. I'd love to meet you.
Yeah.
We go on a ghost hunt together.
Yeah, maybe we'll come to Bristol. And maybe, which is an awesome place, by the way, now.
Oh,
Not what I remember growing up.
it's so great. I know. It's so
went
great.
there for the first, I lived in Croydon for a little bit when I came back. So I was, by the way, I have a soft spot for Croydon. Not many people will say that. But
No, it's fair.
I was working in Bristol. I was working on Ratcliffe. So
Oh, right.
down at the end of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so ghost tours, September 17th.
Yep,
Wednesday is the first one. It's going to be every Wednesday until November something.
Yes. So I would like to shout out 3 of the tours that we have. So we have Spirits on Mill, which will be every Wednesday and Thursday. What's really special about Spirits on Mill is that we partner up with a lot of businesses along Mill Street. So you're also supporting the small businesses of Bristol. So we partner with these bars and restaurants. You're welcome to get a spooky little cocktail along the way at 6 of the locations. You don't have to. It's completely optional. And then we also will make stops at the local bookstore and the crystal shop. And and so that's every Wednesday and Thursday. And then we have Spirits Among the Stones, which is a cemetery tour, lantern led. And you visit all 3 major cemeteries of Bristol Borough. So you start up at St. Mark's Cemetery and you make your way all the way down to St. James Cemetery, where our very own local legend is, and that is the Witch's Chair. So that's at the end of, that's our grand finale, but it's really, really cool. And we are going to be doing, we haven't fully announced this yet, but I'm sure by the time this comes out, we probably will. So I'll say it. We are going to be doing some investigations in the cemetery. So with Lower Bucks Paranormal Society, we have purchased about 5 ghost hunting kits for people to use. So we're going to cap this at 20 people. And you can come and we're going to break you up into groups of 4 and you spread out around the cemetery with your own little ghost hunting kit and you get to see what comes out. So you get to learn about the equipment, get to learn a little bit about the history in Bristol, and then you could do that ghost hunt. So both of those tours start the same week. And then this year we are launching our 3rd tour concept, which is Spirits on Main, which is how you and I got in connection, because I contacted your dad about, he was pretty much the starting point of this journey of researching Yardley's history. So Spirits on Main will be a ghost tour for Yardley Borough.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited about the Yardley one. I get excited about every single one. Like, it's very hard for me to not share. Like, as I'm writing the tour, it's hard for me to not share these stories and the information that I find. But
I can't wait to hear about Yardley, because I don't think too much of Yardley about this, like the spirits of Yardley.
It's incredible. Like, even just the history. It's not even, a lot of the tours are, so for everybody that knows, it's not a jump scare tour. It's really just like a historical tour mixed with ghost stories, mystery, local legend. There's an unsolved murder case in Bristol that we talk about. There's a lot of really interesting things. So within Yardley, those are some of the stories that we're uncovering. Of course, the Continental Tavern is a treasure trove of this historical information, but there are other people within Yardley that I'm meeting with, like Shirley Lee Corsi. She just called me today. She restored the Gather Place Museum, and which used to be an African-American church that she then restored in Yardley. And so she has been able to track down most, if not, most of the historical information regarding the African-American presence within Yardley and, the Underground Railroad within the, and its presence within the town. And so I'm meeting with her on Friday. And I'm so excited. She called me back today and she was like, oh my God, I love this. And to just hear other people's excitement, it means the world to me. So her, and then we're meeting with Monica Hinden, who she runs, I believe, the Historical Association of Lower Makefield. And she's connected with Slate Hill Cemetery, which is the oldest cemetery in Bucks County, if not Pennsylvania.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's in Yardley?
Yeah, it's right at the top of Main Street. And that'll be the first stop of our tour. So
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you doing this. You're fascinating for sure.
thank you. So are you. I've
Thank
had
you.
so much fun. This is awesome. Thank you for having me.